Chapter 1190. Looking at Knight Sorrow, who was captured, Qing Emperor actually compromised. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that Knight Sorrow would no longer participate in the army battle. He. There is no room for discussion. I will take him away. You can't stop me. You reap what you sow. Datura shook his head. Do you really want me to fight to the death with you? Qing Emperor's sword flowed with green light. It could be seen that his emotions were fluctuating. Master, I have troubled you, but what can she do to me? Go. Yi Shan roared and a green light appeared on his body. He took his storage ring and weapons and broke through space to enter the turbulent flow of space. What did you do? Datura looked at Knight Sorrow suspiciously and asked. I didn't do anything. I gave away all the important things on me. Now, I am just a clone. You can kill me if you want. Using me to threaten my master, you are thinking too much. Knight Sorrow said coldly. Haha. Good. Qing Emperor laughed loudly. You want to challenge me? What kind of person am I? I have never been threatened by others before. There are many ways to make you compromise. Datura wrapped around Knight Sorrow's energy vibrated. Who knows, it might shatter Knight Sorrow in the next moment. Are you trying to scare me? There is no harm in telling you. What left just now was the origin of the world. I am the Realm Master. In my world, I am immortal. Can you bite me? Let me tell you, from today onwards, I will fight you. Master, don't be threatened by him. I have a treasure that can accelerate space. Cultivating a clone is a matter of a few years. Knight Sorrow looked at Datura coldly. How much soul power do you have to cultivate a clone? Datura narrowed his eyes and looked at Knight Sorrow. I'm sorry, but I refined a bunch of supplement spirit pills. Do you think I'm not afraid of losing my clone? Knight Sorrow said with a smile on his face. Alright, let's see how she's going to play. At worst, you can just disperse this avatar. Master will help you settle your grudge. Qing Emperor was also confident in his heart because Datura really couldn't do anything to Knight Sorrow. Datura grabbed Knight Sorrow and left in a flash. Qing Emperor didn't chase after him because it was useless. Knight Sorrow was in Datura's hands, and he couldn't snatch it away. At this time, Summer City had recovered a little. Your Majesty, it's my fault for not protecting Knight Sorrow well. No one can protect him. Knight Sorrow should have dispersed his avatar directly. That way, I could have fought and helped him vent his anger. Qing Emperor frowned and said. It's not that His Highness doesn't have guts. It's just that His Highness's original body is cultivating in the Samsara Palace. If his avatar died at this time, it would affect the original body's cultivation. Summer City said. I see. Then let's wait. Summer City, follow me back first. You can come back when Knight Sorrow comes back. Qing Emperor looked at Summer City and said. His Highness isn't here. I have to look after the house. I'll wait for His Highness in the Nine Chong Tower. Summer City said. Free BV fee forever. When they returned to Qing Emperor's palace, Qing Emperor told Xian Daozi and Zhang Tan about what happened. Bastard. How dare they attack junior brother? Master, I'm going to fight. I'm going to make a river of blood flow in the dark abyss. Zhang Tan's body was full of murderous intent. This matter had crossed his bottom line. Okay. Just teach them a lesson. Remember to retreat after killing them. Go somewhere else and kill them. Qing Emperor nodded. He was also a man with guts. Datura's actions had angered him. Qing Emperor then called Tan Lin, asking him to go to the Nine Chong Tower and Sky Tiger Pass to stabilize the Nine Heavens army. But in reality, even if Tan Lin went, it would be useless. The 7 generals of the Nine Heaven army gathered and expressed their stance. The Nine Heaven army would only listen to the imperial decree and Yi Shan's orders. Unless Yi Shang died or Yi Shang personally said that he did not care about the Nine Heaven Army anymore, no one else could interfere. If there was a problem, they would resolve it. When Tan Lin returned to report, he thought Qing Emperor would be angry. Unexpectedly, Qing Emperor only nodded and said, "This is what it means to lead an army. Don't ask about the Nine Heavens Army for now. They aren't brainless." Night Sorrow was taken to the dark abyss by Datura and brought to the White Bone Hall. He tossed Night Sorrow into the hall. Datura's dress was embroidered on it. Datura sat down on the white bone throne. "Do you need to be so rude? Either you kill me or be more polite." "There's no point in beating me up like this," said Night Sorrow as he stood up and tidied up his battle robes after being thrown to the ground. "Ruler, who is this?" Rowan asked. While Rowan was speaking, Demon Blood, who was standing in the White Bone Hall, took action. He punched Night Sorrow and sent him flying. He then pulled out his greatsword and slashed at Night Sorrow. "Stop! Demon Blood, you are being impudent." Datura waved his arm, sending Demon Blood flying. "Ruler, please punish me." However, he killed 11 of our legions. All of the Demon Blood Legion soldiers died at his hands, Demon Blood said as he knelt on one knee before Datura. Night Sorrow stood up and straightened out his robes once more. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Demon Blood. "You still have the face to say that? That wasn't my problem, nor was it the Dark Abyss's problem. You were the one who deserved to die. You." Demon Blood wanted nothing more than to cut Night Sorrow into 1,000 pieces. However, without Datura's permission, Demon Blood didn't dare do so. "Night Sorrow, tell me. What do you want in order for me to serve you?" Datura asked Night Sorrow. "Then you should just kill me." Night Sorrow didn't refuse. However, his words left no room for negotiation. "You will come to your senses. Men, bring him to the Dragon Bone Hall and lock him up," Datura ordered. Following that, someone brought Night Sorrow to the Dragon Bone Hall and locked him up with a meteorite chain that had been reinforced by an array formation. Night Sorrow wanted to make tea, but the tea set and wine were in his storage ring. The 9-region origin bead had taken them away, and they were still flying toward the 9-region world. With nothing else to do, Night Sorrow sat down to meditate and deduce an array formation. 4 hours later, Datura arrived at the Dragon Bone Hall. "How about it? Consider it. Whatever the Qing Emperor can give you, I can give you. I can give you the Commander-in-Chief and your Highness. The Qing Emperor has a son. You aren't the only Highness in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but you can in the Dark Abyss. I have no descendants or disciples. If you agree, you will be the only Highness in the Dark Abyss," Datura said as he sat on the main seat in the Dragon Bone Hall. "Ruler, you are very sincere. However, Master has treated me well. I can't betray him. I can only say that I am not fated with the Dark Abyss," Night Sorrow said. "However, you should know that I was the one who saved you from Zhan Taiyang. Do you know who Zhan Taiyang is? Island Master Duotian. His talent is at the level of trash, but he developed a special skill called Heaven Seizing. It can take away other people's talent, opportunities, and luck. You may be a clone, but even if you disperse your clone, he can still capture your soul power and do something. So, you should be grateful," Datura said as he made tea. "Perhaps you helped me, but I can't betray the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I can't do it. Give me some tea. Although I am a prisoner, I need to be humane." Night Sorrow pointed at the teacup in front of Datura. Chapter 1191. "You are the first person to be so rude to me in the Dragonbone Palace. I'll give you some tea then." Datura waved her arm and the small tea table in front of her flew to Night Sorrow. "I'm already like this. Who do I need to be polite to?" Night Sorrow took the tea set and started to make tea. Night Sorrow knew very well that he would never betray the Qing Emperor's empire. Datura would also not let him go. His doppelganger would definitely be destroyed. The reason why he was delaying it now was so that he would not interrupt the cultivation of his original body. Be genuine, our Dragonbone Palace is where I rest and cultivate. Think about it carefully. If you have any requests, I will definitely satisfy them. I have the ruthlessness and magnanimity. For example, I offended Zhang Taiyang for the sake of the world of reincarnation, Datura said. If you can prove that Zhang Taiyang can hurt my doppelganger, then I, Night Sorrow, will owe you a favor. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and said. What's the use of your favor? I can do whatever you can do. I see that you are a talent and hope that you will serve me and the Dark Abyss. Datura glanced at Night Sorrow. She did not care about Night Sorrow's favor. Don't bully the young. Who knows what will happen in the future? Night Sorrow did not take Datura's disdain to heart. Are you really not willing to serve me and the Dark Abyss? The army of the Dark Abyss is strong and there are many of them. They will give you more space to perform. Datura stared into Night Sorrow's eyes and asked. I really hate war. War represents death, so I really can't serve the Dark Abyss. Night Sorrow said. Then you should know that I won't let you leave. Also, according to your character recorded in the information, and you've made preparations, why don't you disperse your clone? Why are you in a stalemate with me? Datura was puzzled. Let's not beat around the bush. My main body is currently in cultivation retreat. It is currently in the midst of a state of epiphany. I am not afraid of my clone dying. However, it would disrupt my main body's state of epiphany. It would be best to minimize the losses. Whenever you want to kill me, just do it, said Night Sorrow after taking a sip of tea. Epiphany. It seems you are really a talent. Datura swayed her skirt and sat on the praying mat to meditate. Night Sorrow also began to meditate. He continued to deduce the array formation and studied the essence of the heaven-locking array and heaven-sealing array. 3 days later, someone came to the Dragonbone Palace to request an audience. It was Luo Wen. After Luo Wen entered, he reported to Datura that the Qing Emperor dynasty's sandalwood was massacring the towns and fortresses of the Dark Abyss. Several city lords, commanders, and generals had already been killed. Is this guy crazy? Datura frowned. That lunatic said that as long as we imprison his junior brother, Night Sorrow, he will slaughter the Dark Abyss. Those city lords and generals can't stop him at all. His targets are the leaders of some of the cities and armies in the Dark Abyss, Luo Wen reported. It seems the bond between brothers is deep. Night Sorrow, you have been in the Qing Emperor dynasty for less than a year, right? Why would Sandalwood risk his life for you? Datura looked at Night Sorrow in confusion. I can do anything for senior brother. Senior brother naturally wouldn't stand by and do nothing while I am imprisoned, Night Sorrow said. You can do anything for him? It seems the relationship between the two of you isn't simple. Datura discovered the meaning behind Night Sorrow's words. That's right. Senior brother is imprisoned in the demon's sealing tower by Master. I often visit him. We are the only disciples under Master. Naturally, we have to support each other. Night Sorrow nodded. Were you the one who cured his madness? Mandela asked after thinking for a moment. This wasn't because Datura was smart. It was because Sandalwood had been imprisoned for 5 million years. If the Qing Emperor and the others could cure him, Sandalwood wouldn't have been possessed for so long. When Night Sorrow arrived in the Qing Emperor dynasty, Sandalwood recovered. Naturally, he had both. Yes. Night Sorrow didn't try to hide it. It seems you are quite capable. Tell Sandalwood that Night Sorrow is a guest in the Dark Abyss. I have no plans to kill him. If he tries anything funny again, I will immediately kill his junior brother, Datura instructed Rowan. Ruler, don't we need to send someone to kill him? Rowan asked softly. If I don't do anything, no one in the Dark Abyss can kill him. At most, they can force him to retreat. It's meaningless. Follow my orders. He will retreat. Datura waved his hand, dismissing Rowan. Glancing at Night Sorrow, Datura continued to meditate. Now that Night Sorrow wasn't willing to compromise, there was nothing she could do. Killing him was just a clone. There wasn't much point in doing so. There was no point in forcing him. When he couldn't bear it or wasn't willing to bear it, Night Sorrow would disperse the clone. When that happened, Datura would have done all her work for nothing. Not only would she have offended the Qing Emperor, but she would also have offended Zhang Taiyang. Of course, Datura wasn't afraid, but she would still be at a disadvantage. Sandalwood retreated, but before he left behind a message. If anything happened to Night Sorrow's clone, he would carry out an endless slaughter in the dark abyss. A threat was a threat. After returning to the Qing Emperor's palace, Sandalwood reported to the Qing Emperor. He didn't want to force Datura too much. After all, it was better not to lose Night Sorrow's clone. You did the right thing. Your junior brother is fine in her hands. The worst outcome would be your junior brother losing one of his clones. If it landed in Zhang Taiyang's hands, that would be a huge problem. Datura has helped us this time. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, many people have their eyes on His Highness Night Sorrow. The fact that Zhang Taiyang and Mandela took action proves this point. He is different from Her Highness Sandalwood. When Her Highness Sandalwood traveled the world, she already had the ability to protect herself. His Highness Night Sorrow is still lacking, said Xian Daozi. Not really. Night Sorrow is a realm lord. His ability to protect himself is still very strong. Unless he meets an evil person like Zhang Taiyang. However, Zhang Taiyang also suffered heavy losses this time. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, you can tell His Highness that the next time he encounters danger, he can just disperse his clone and leave with the world origin bead wrapped in his soul power. That way, the enemy can't do anything. Xian Daozi said. Let's wait for Night Sorrow to return. Let's see how the battle between him and Datura ends. The Qing Emperor nodded. He felt that he had overlooked some issues. Datura was very quiet. After knowing that Sandalwood had retreated, she had been meditating quietly every day. She didn't send out any troops to fight the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Night Sorrow spent every day deducing formations because he had nothing to do. Other than making tea to calm himself down. Although he was chained by the meteorite iron, Night Sorrow had a rare moment of peace. Datura was the dark ruler. The tea he drank was of the highest quality. Night Sorrow spent every day making tea and studying formations. He was very satisfied. I feel that you don't have the awareness of being a prisoner. Instead, you are relaxing. Looking at Night Sorrow drinking tea, Datura was a little angry. Chapter 1192. What can I do now? Do you want some tea? Night Sorrow waved his sleeve, and a teacup flew towards Datura. Datura caught the teacup with his right hand. He glanced at Night Sorrow, lifted his veil, and took a sip. Not bad. Make tea for me every day in the future, Datura said after putting down the teacup. How can you be like this? You're chained up, and you want me to make tea for you? Night Sorrow was a little speechless. Come, unlock the chains. Kid, remember, if you dare to leave within 100 meters of me, I'll kill you, Datura warned Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He knew Datura was serious, but he didn't need to run. His main body was still cultivating, and it wouldn't be fun if his clone was killed. Night Sorrow was a little more free in the Dragon Bone Hall. When he had nothing to do, Night Sorrow took a pen and drew a diagram. He wanted to study the Killing Lock formation, but he was very careful when he drew it. Only he could understand it. This was to guard against Datura. Ghost symbol. Datura scanned the entire hall with his soul power. She was very clear about what Night Sorrow was doing. She checked Night Sorrow's drawing, but she couldn't understand it. The essence of the formation. It can defeat the Dark Abyss army with low consumption. Night Sorrow didn't care about Datura's sneer. Only the Qing Emperor has extra time to study this. Your own strength is the way to go, Datura said. Not really. Besides my main body, I have 2 clones. The clones don't have any comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. One of my clones can deduce the formation, and the other can study refining and alchemy. This way, nothing will be delayed, Night Sorrow said as he drew the diagram. You're amazing. Datura didn't continue to refute Night Sorrow's words. Night Sorrow's arrangement was reasonable. I have an ancient diagram here. It's your army's joint attack formation. After a moment of silence, Datura took out a yellowed beast skin. I want the diagram, but there are some things I need to make clear to you. First of all, the 9 Heaven Army's joint attack formation already has 7 types. I can only teach you 1. In addition, when I return, I'll study the formation break. If your joint attack formation fails, you can't blame me, Night Sorrow said. Only 1? That won't do. This is an ancient diagram. It is extremely valuable. In other words, no such formation is popular at present. Since you can control it, it's the only one. Let's exchange 3 types of joint attack formation, Datura said. 2 types. If you want to exchange, then so be it. If not, then forget it, Night Sorrow said. Aren't you going a little overboard? Why are there only 2 types? Datura said, frowning. Actually, 2 types are quite a lot. With the joint attack formation, the Dark Abyss army won't have an advantage against 9 Heavens army. However, against the Red Emperor's army, their advantage will be obvious. If I didn't come up with this diagram, I won't give it to you, no matter what price you offer, Night Sorrow said. Alright, then. Now, draw the diagram for the joint attack formation, Datura said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He then drew the diagram for the 3-man joint attack formation and the 4-man joint attack formation, including the key points and positioning of the formation. Then, he handed it to Datura. I just drew a few lines, and I got this ancient diagram. You sure earn resources quickly. Datura looked at the diagram and, after confirming that there was no problem with it, handed the yellowed animal hide to Night Sorrow. How can you say that? It's easy for you to see me carve it out, but when I was researching it, after much deliberation and deduction, this kind of joint attack formation is the most reasonable. It's also the one that can maximize combat strength. Night Sorrow was somewhat dissatisfied with Mandela's understatement of his accomplishments. You have a joint attack formation, but so do we. You can break our 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations, but we Dark Abyss warriors also understand 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations. We can break yours as well. Datura was very satisfied with the diagram. What an amateur. If you think like that, Dark Abyss will suffer a crushing defeat against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Like I said, 9 Heavens Legion currently has 7 types of joint attack formations. When we fight Dark Abyss again, I will forbid the use of the current 3-man and 4-man joint attack formations. If we use 5-man and 6-man joint attack formations, your understanding and deciphering them will be useless. If you use joint attack formations, you will be showing off your slight skill in front of an expert. It's no different from suicide, Night Sorrow said as he looked at Datura. You dare scheme against me? Datura's eyes flashed with an ominous glint after hearing Night Sorrow's words. I'm facing you head-on right now. I don't plan on tricking you. If I did plan on tricking you, I wouldn't have said those words. Your Dark Abyss will pay a heavy price for your thoughts just now. Truly unreasonable. Night Sorrow went to the side to meditate. Positive. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Datura's cold aura slowly dissipated. She knew that Night Sorrow was telling the truth. Over the next few days, Night Sorrow used a pen and paper to analyze the ancient diagram Datura took out. extensive, profound, and ruthless. This was Night Sorrow's evaluation of the 9th secret slaughtering god formation. The formation was profound, and Night Sorrow had a hard time analyzing it. Every day, his mind was immersed in the formation. Datura was a little naughty. Every time Night Sorrow was immersed, he would ask Night Sorrow to make tea. Night Sorrow couldn't deny Datura's intentions. If he delayed, then so be it. What he didn't lack now was time. His main body was cultivating, and his clone was trapped. What could he do? You're lucky. This seat cultivates alchemy. Otherwise, this diagram wouldn't have landed in your hands. Datura said as he watched Night Sorrow study the diagram after making tea. Only the virtuous can occupy it. Night Sorrow replied Datura. Bastard. You dare say this seat has no virtue? Datura took the teacup in front of him and splashed it at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's face was full. Datura used energy to imprison Night Sorrow before splashing the tea. Night Sorrow couldn't avoid it. Wiping his face, Night Sorrow felt helpless. Datura's fist was big, and he was now a prisoner. After wiping his face, Night Sorrow sat down. There was no joy or anger on his face. Not angry? Seeing Night Sorrow sit down quietly, Datura asked. She felt that Night Sorrow should be angry. She knew very well that Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of her, and there was nothing to be afraid of. Why would a man like me be angry with a woman? Besides, you took me away from Zhang Taiyang. It can be considered a favor. Night Sorrow said. What do you mean by took me away? You saved me. Datura corrected Night Sorrow's choice of words. No, if you let me go, then you saved me. If you didn't let me go or killed me, then you didn't save me. Taking me away is more appropriate. Night Sorrow didn't think that Datura's use of the word save was more reasonable. This seat doesn't believe that I can't subdue you. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Datura's anger rose. Chapter 1193. And BSP, since things have come to this, what else can I do? Drink some tea. Night Sorrow waved his sleeve and a teacup flew towards Datura. Datura caught the teacup with his right hand and glanced at Night Sorrow. Then, he lifted his veil and took a sip. After putting down the teacup, Datura said, Not bad. From now on, make tea for me every day. How can you be like this? You're chained up and you want me to make tea for you? Night Sorrow said, somewhat speechless. Come, unlock the chains. Kid, remember this. If you dare to leave within 100 meters of me, I will kill you. Datura warned Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He knew Datura was serious. However, he didn't need to run. His main body was still cultivating. It wouldn't be fun if his avatar was killed. Night Sorrow had some freedom in the Dragon Bone Hall. When he had nothing to do, Night Sorrow took out a pen and drew an array diagram. He wanted to study the Deathlock array and combine it with the array diagram. However, he was very careful when he drew the diagram. Only he could understand it. This was to guard against Datura. Ghost symbol. Datura scanned the entire hall with her soul power. She was very clear about what Night Sorrow was doing. However, she couldn't understand what Night Sorrow was drawing. The essence of an array diagram. It can defeat the Dark Abyss army with low consumption. Night Sorrow didn't care about Datura's ridicule. Only the Qing Emperor has the time to study this. Your own strength is the way to go. Datura said. Not really. Aside from my main body, I have 2 avatars. The avatars don't have any comprehension of the laws of heaven and earth. One of my avatars can deduce the array diagram, and the other can study refining and alchemy. This way, nothing will be delayed. Night Sorrow said as he drew the array diagram. "You're amazing." Datura didn't continue to refute Night Sorrow's words. After all, Night Sorrow's arrangement was reasonable. "I have an ancient array diagram here. It's your army's combination array diagram." After a moment of silence, Datura took out a yellowed beast skin. "I really want the array diagram, but there are some things I need to make clear to you. First of all, the Nine Heavens Legion already has 7 types of joint attack arrays. I can only teach you one. In addition, when I return, I will study how to break the array. If your joint attack array fails, you cannot blame me," Night Sorrow said. "Most. New chapter, previous, only one? That won't do. This is an ancient array diagram. It's extremely valuable. In other words, no such array diagram is currently popular. If you can control it, then it's the only one. Let's exchange 3 types of combination array diagram," Datura said. 2 types. If you want to exchange, then so be it. If not, then forget it, Night Sorrow said. "Aren't you going a little overboard? Why are there only 2 types?" Datura said, frowning. "Actually, 2 types isn't a small number. With the combination array diagram, the Dark Army won't have an advantage against the Nine Heavens Legion. However, against the Red Emperor's Empire, the advantage will be obvious. If I didn't research the array diagram, I wouldn't have agreed to it, no matter what price you offer," Night Sorrow said. "Alright, then we'll exchange. Now, draw the combination array diagram," Datura said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He then drew the combination array diagram for the 3-man and 4-man combination arrays, including the key points and positioning of the combination arrays. Then, he handed it to Datura. "I just drew a few lines, and I got this ancient array diagram. You earn resources really quickly," Datura said after examining the array diagram. After confirming that there was no problem with it, he handed the yellowed beast hide to Night Sorrow. "How can you say that? It's easy for you to see me draw the array diagram, but during research, after much deliberation, this combination array diagram is the most logical. It's also the one that can maximize combat power," Night Sorrow said, somewhat dissatisfied with Datura's dismissal of his achievements. "You have a combination array diagram, but so do we. You can break our 3-man and 4-man combination arrays, but we Dark Abyss warriors also understand 3-man and 4-man combination arrays. We can break yours as well." Datura was very satisfied with the combination array diagram he had obtained. "You're an amateur. If you think like that, Dark Abyss will suffer a crushing defeat against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. I've already said that the Nine Heavens Legion currently has 7 types of combination array diagrams. When we fight Dark Abyss again, I will forbid the use of the current 3-man and 4-man combination arrays. If we use 5-man and 6-man combination arrays, your understanding and deciphering them will be useless. If you use combination arrays, you'll be displaying your slight skill in front of an expert. It's no different from throwing your life away," Night Sorrow said, glancing at Datura. "You dare scheme against me?" Datura's eyes flashed with a ferocious light after hearing Night Sorrow's words. "I'm facing you head-on right now. I don't plan on tricking you. If I did plan on tricking you, I wouldn't have said those words. Your Dark Abyss will pay a heavy price for your thoughts just now. Truly unreasonable." Night Sorrow went to the side to meditate. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Datura's cold aura slowly dissipated. She knew that Night Sorrow was telling the truth. Over the next few days, Night Sorrow used a pen and paper to analyze the ancient array diagram Datura took out. Extensive, profound, and ruthless. This was Night Sorrow's evaluation of the 9th secret slaughtering god array. The array diagram was profound, and Night Sorrow had a hard time analyzing it. Every day, he would be immersed in the array diagram. Datura was a bit naughty. Every time Night Sorrow was immersed, he would call Night Sorrow to make tea. Night Sorrow couldn't deny Datura's intentions. If he delayed, then so be it. What he didn't lack now was time. His main body was cultivating, and his clone was trapped. What could he do? You're lucky. I cultivate alchemy. Otherwise, this array diagram wouldn't have landed in your hands. Datura once again watched Night Sorrow study the array diagram after making tea. Only the virtuous can occupy it. Night Sorrow replied Datura. Bastard. You dare say I'm not virtuous? Datura picked up the teacup in front of him and splashed it directly at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's face was full. Before Datura splashed the tea, he used energy to imprison Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow couldn't escape. Night Sorrow wiped his face helplessly. Datura's fist was big, and he was now a prisoner. After wiping his face, Night Sorrow sat down. There was no joy or anger on his face. You're not angry? Seeing Night Sorrow sit down quietly, Datura asked. She felt that Night Sorrow should be angry. She was very clear that Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of her, and there was nothing to be afraid of. Why would a man like me be angry with a woman? Besides, you snatched me from Zhang Taiyang's hands. I owe you a favor. Night Sorrow said. What do you mean snatched? You saved me. Datura corrected Night Sorrow's choice of words. No, if you let me go, then you saved me. If you didn't let me go or killed me, then you didn't save me. Snatching is more appropriate. Night Sorrow didn't think that Datura's use of the word saved was reasonable. I don't believe I can't subdue you. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, Datura's anger rose. Chapter 1194. And $BSP, you're thinking too much. I'll bear with it when I can. If I can't, then I'll just disband my clone and stop playing with you. Night Sorrow said. In fact, this was the reason why Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of Datura. Datura pointed at Night Sorrow. Her finger was trembling. She had never been defeated like this in countless years. Even the other big shots didn't make her feel so uncomfortable. Night Sorrow was now a pain in the neck. She couldn't do anything to him. Forever / free to see, r, I'll think of a way. I'll think of a way to deal with you. Datura coldly snorted and sat down. She felt that this matter needed to be thought over. Night Sorrow was with her, so there was a chance. Yishang didn't care if Mandela was angry or not. If his doppelganger could survive, then so be it. However, he planned to endure until his main body woke up. Until he couldn't bear it anymore, then he would talk about it. Seeing Night Sorrow lying on the table inscribing an array diagram, Datura couldn't help but check. Her expression changed because her soul power was suppressed when she was near Night Sorrow. Datura didn't understand what was going on. She was known as the ruler of darkness, but in reality, she was the ruler of death. She cultivated the high-level death attribute. Now that her soul power was suppressed, there was only one possibility. Night Sorrow's supreme attribute was on him. Night Sorrow and Datura looked at each other. Datura probed, so Night Sorrow naturally noticed. You probed me? Night Sorrow looked at Datura. You hid it very well. Normal people wouldn't be able to detect it, but I did. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. I don't have any enmity towards you, nor am I guarded against you. It's impolite to spy on others. I like this kind of website the most. You must give it a good review. Night Sorrow said. He didn't have time or space energy to protect himself just now, so when Datura checked him out, the energy invaded his body. Do I need to be polite to you? Datura retorted. So what if we find out? My true body isn't here, I'm the Realm Lord. Which one of you can stop me from rising? Night Sorrow stood up as his aura fluctuated. Right now, he wasn't afraid of anything. Calm down, calm down. Let's sit down and talk. Datura waved at Night Sorrow. Don't try anything funny. It's useless. As long as you show any signs of attacking me, I'll immediately disperse this clone. Night Sorrow sat down and said. Datura kept looking at Night Sorrow. After a while, he nodded. King with both time and space attributes. His body does indeed have void energy and void laws. He's at the peak of the Holy King realm. He hasn't become a king yet. That's it. Night Sorrow looked at Datura. Tell me, what will it take for you to become my disciple? Datura said. No, I won't betray Master. Night Sorrow shook his head. We did it secretly and won't tell others. I have a secret technique. Did you see how I killed Zhang Taiyang's clone? I can teach you the death destruction / Datura said. I won't do things against my will. Actually, I don't plan to be enemies with anyone. Even if I succeed, I'll do it for myself and to take care of my family. Night Sorrow said. Tribulation. Everyone at our level knows that when the world has a huge change or when a genius is born, it's the time of tribulation. In the 3,000 worlds and the few supreme worlds, there aren't any supreme attribute cultivators. Even if there are, they're from a side branch and don't have a complete supreme attribute. Your void attribute is complete. Your appearance will cause a commotion and represent the fall and destruction of many people. I also want to find an opportunity for myself. Actually, it's also a choice. I'll choose a side. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. I don't understand. Night Sorrow shook his head. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said, it's impossible that the Qing Emperor doesn't know about your situation. He chose to support you. For me, there are two choices. One is to support you. No matter how tumultuous the world is, no matter how great the tribulation is, I'll support you without hesitation. Everyone will bear the consequences of your actions. The other is to destroy you and let fate return to its original state. Are you serious? Night Sorrow looked at Datura and asked. Yes, I'm not joking with you. If we choose your side, it means that you'll grow and will be safe. If you're destroyed, we won't have a good ending either. Datura said. Just treat it as if we've never met. Let me go and we'll be done with this. Night Sorrow said. It's not that simple. Now listen up. If I want to destroy you, even if your doppelganger dissipates, you won't be able to escape. There's a secret technique in the death attribute called the soul extinguishing nether spring. I'll have to pay a price for using it. It'll harm others without benefiting myself. However, I can definitely destroy you and your potential. I'll pollute your soul and make it impossible for you to achieve anything. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. There's no need to be so ruthless, right? Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said. There's no other way. I have to make a choice. You have to make a choice too. The Qing Emperor is willing to support you because you're his disciple. Master and disciple are like father and son. This relationship is strong enough. He has reasons to help and support you. Today. We have to make a choice today. There's no room for discussion. Datura said. I won't compromise. I won't work for you and the Empire of Darkness. This is the bottom line. Even if I'm destroyed, I won't compromise. Night Sorrow said. He didn't know if the Samsara Palace could protect his soul, but he couldn't compromise. You don't believe in my ability? When I use the soul extinguishing nether spring, I'll lose 30% of my soul power. However, after your soul is polluted, you won't be able to improve in the future. Datura's eyes were filled with murderous intent again. I believe you. I may pay a heavy price, but I won't be completely destroyed. My original body is cultivating in the Samsara Palace. Even if you can destroy my original body, I still have a real trump card. It's a doppelganger that has merged with the origin of the Nine Zones world. That doppelganger is made of flesh and blood and has completely merged with the origin of the Nine Zones world. After my original body is destroyed, that doppelganger will become my original body. The disadvantage is that it can't leave the Nine Zones world. After that doppelganger becomes my original body, it can still create doppelganger. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said, I don't have to destroy you. You have to give me a reason that can convince me, a reason that can fully support you. Datura exhaled and said, I really can't take you as my master. If I do, I won't be able to be a human. I won't be able to face the people I know in the Qing Emperor's empire. I won't be able to face myself. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and said, But how do you want me to choose? I have no choice. Datura smashed the table in front of him with his arm. At this moment, a few dark warriors appeared in the hall. Get out! Get out! Datura yelled. I can swear that I'll live and die with you, Night Sorrow said. That's not enough. The strongest relationships in this world are family, the relationship between master and disciple, and the relationship between brothers. As for family, we have no relationship at all. You don't want to be master and disciple, so it's impossible for us to be brothers. How about you come to the monarch realm and marry me? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Chapter 1195. And BSP advertisement, Pa. Night Sorrow lost his balance and knocked over the tea table beside him. What did you say? I said, marry me when you reach the monarch realm, Datura said slowly. Stop joking. You're the ruler, and I'm just a lackey. Besides, you don't know me, and I don't know you, Night Sorrow said. Datura has just opened in the dark abyss, Datura said with his eyes closed. So what? What does it have to do with us? Night Sorrow didn't understand what Datura was up to. Nothing. Let me tell you, I'm Datura. Datura's opening naturally means something to me. We have karma. Do you agree or not? Datura's embroidered dress fluttered without wind. It was obvious that he was very emotional. I have 3 wives, and I love them very much. I won't let them be wronged, but you will be wronged. Let's think of another way, Night Sorrow said. He could see that Datura was serious. If I'm wronged, do they dare to bully me? It's settled. You have to agree whether you agree or not. If you piss me off, I'll find a way to send a clone with no cultivation to the 9-domain world to cultivate. When it's done, I'll kill them all, Datura said to Night Sorrow. I'll go back and tell my parents. If they agree, I'll come back, Night Sorrow said. Okay. However, I'll go with you. Your parents and I have a karma connection, Datura said. No, I can swear that I'll come back. If I don't, I'll be destroyed. However, you can't go. Night Sorrow said. The safety of his parents and wife was more important than anything. Night Sorrow wouldn't let his parents and family face danger. Are you afraid that I will threaten their safety? You lack the most basic trust. I swear that if I hurt the people around you, I will be condemned by the heavenly Tao, Datura said. All right then. Let's go together. What the hell is this? Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his face. Don't be a good boy. You are a 2-star king now. If you fail to reach the monarch realm, I will kill you myself. I don't want to embarrass myself, Datura said. Nothing is more vicious than a woman's heart. Night Sorrow muttered. What are you talking about? I'll let you speak. Datura walked over and imprisoned Night Sorrow with his energy. He lifted his skirt and kicked Night Sorrow. I've tolerated you for a long time. I beat you up a few days ago because I was afraid that you would disperse your clone. I was afraid that you would die. It's useless to beat you up now. After beating Night Sorrow up, Datura took the tea set beside Night Sorrow and made a pot of tea. Night Sorrow leaned against the iron pillar that used to tie him up and panted. Have you been waiting for this opportunity for a long time? Yes, I'm really angry. You are too infuriating. How many times have you made me angry? We're even now, Datura said. How would I dare to marry you like this? Let's settle this in another way. Yishang said. He was worried that if such a woman were to marry into his family would be in a state of chaos. I'm just discovering my inner emotions. I know how to be a woman. Datura was stunned. Then, he helped Night Sorrow up. Night Sorrow looked at Datura when he got up. I've cultivated for many years and have learned some things. Just now, I was just venting the anger I've accumulated over the past few days. Alright, pack up. We'll go to your house to take a look, said Mandela when she saw Yishang's suspicious expression. Night Sorrow was a bit sullen. He had been beaten up, but he couldn't use it as an excuse. Servants came to move the tables and chairs destroyed by Night Sorrow and Datura in the Dragon Bone Palace and replaced them with a new tea set. Night Sorrow, it's settled. Since it's settled, there are some things I have to tell you. Zhang Taiyang suffered a loss this time. He definitely won't let it go. He might even have designs on you. So, you have to be careful. If he catches you and uses the heaven-seizing technique on you, it will really be bad, Datura said. I will be careful. The next time I meet him, I will detonate my doppelganger and leave with the 9 regions origin bead wrapped in the shattered soul strength. I won't give him a chance. Night Sorrow nodded. The water in the world of samsara is very deep. There are 10 masters like me and your master. Some of them have connections with the Black-Yellow Great World and the Shinwu Great World. It can be said that their forces are not only in the world of samsara, but also in other supreme worlds. So, you have to be careful. Don't tell others about what happened between you and me. You'd better use the identity of the Qing Emperor dynasty to develop, Datura said. If you are afraid of losing face, don't say that you want to marry me, Night Sorrow said. You bastard, I'll kill you. If you hide your relationship, you will have power in the dark. I will help you with whatever help you need. I will give you whatever resources you need. The fact that you can say this only proves that you are young and immature. Mandela glared at Yishang and sighed. Young people are not suitable. Night Sorrow still did not agree with this matter. If you talk nonsense again, believe it or not, I will teach you a lesson. I can spoil you and spoil you. I can also teach you a lesson. The opening of Datura means that my marriage will appear. This is fate and destiny. How can you deny it? Datura raised his arm and wanted to slap Night Sorrow. But after thinking about it, he put down his hand. You are unreasonable. Night Sorrow took 2 steps back and said. He knew that if he really angered Datura, he would still be beaten. The difference between their levels was too big. If he was beaten, he would have no room to resist. Let's go. Datura said to Night Sorrow. Then Datura took Night Sorrow and left the Dragon Bone Palace. Then, they began to teleport. At this time, Sky City was filled with worry. Hong Yi and Lanning returned and said that Night Sorrow was kidnapped by the Dark Ruler Datura. This made everyone very worried. But no one could do anything. They did not even think of rescuing him. The Dark Abyss was the top power in the world of reincarnation. Datura was also a Sky Master, standing at the peak of the cultivation world. Unless she released him, no one could think of rescuing him. Don't worry. At most, we will lose a clone. If something like this happens in the future, remind Night Sorrow. The world of reincarnation is too deep. Even the Qing Emperor cannot protect him. Yi Wuyo said. Are we just going to wait like this? Why don't we go to the Ceiling Sky Palace and ask Night Sorrow what's going on now? Yu Qing said. Don't disturb the child. It's better to wait. I believe Night Sorrow will handle it well. If the other party attacked directly, there would be news now. Yi Wuyo said. Original equals first. The Dark Abyss did not have a teleportation formation directly to the world of 9 heavens. Datura took Night Sorrow and even wrapped Night Sorrow in a black robe. They went to the world of 9 heavens through the teleportation formation in the Qing Emperor's city. Chapter 1196. Then the two teleported to the Tianxian world. Night Sorrow. As soon as Night Sorrow came out of the teleportation formation, someone greeted him. It was Qian Zhenyu. Lord Xian Tian was currently refining the soul cultivation liquid, so the guard of the teleportation formation was Qian Zhenyu. Is Lord Xian Tian busy? Night Sorrow asked. Great Ancestor is cultivating in seclusion. Are you going to Chia City? Qian Zhenyu asked politely. Although his cultivation was higher than Night Sorrow's, in the 9 heavens realm, there was a big gap between their identities and statuses. He knew that Night Sorrow could easily flatten a world now. Yes, I plan to go back and have a look. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry about the safety here. I can't stop the 2 sovereigns from making trouble, but when they come, I will inform Great Ancestor as soon as possible. Qian Zhenyu said. He was afraid that Night Sorrow would feel that Lord Xian Tian did not pay attention to him and would be dissatisfied. Okay, then I'll go back first. Night Sorrow walked toward another teleportation formation. There was a small distance between the teleportation formation and the ordinary teleportation formation. Sovereigns are making trouble for you? I'll arrange for someone to kill them all at 1:00 that night. If you don't want to make it public, I can do it myself. Datura, who was beside Night Sorrow, said. That's not necessary. It's not a big deal. Night Sorrow shook his head, which made Qian Zhenyu, who was watching their backs and listening to their conversation, tremble. Arrange for someone to kill them all? He could do it himself. At this time, Qian Zhenyu found that he could not see Datura's depth at all. Night Sorrow's words also touched him. The threat of sovereigns was not a big deal. This was confidence and spirit. Night Sorrow and Datura arrived at 7 Night City. Everyone who saw Night Sorrow bowed and greeted him as the city lord. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded in response before entering the teleportation array. Night Sorrow stepped onto the teleportation circle, but as Datura approached, the teleportation stone shone brightly, blocking Datura's advance. If Datura forced his way through, the teleportation stone would shatter. Very skillful, standing outside the teleportation array, Datura said. She naturally understood what was going on. Night Sorrow's energy erupted and wrapped around Datura. The 2 of them began to teleport and arrived at Sky City. This is my home, Night Sorrow said after walking out of the teleportation array. The scenery is beautiful, and I feel relaxed and happy. We will live here in the future, Mandela said. Let's talk about this later. I still don't know what my parents and wife think. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. He felt a little pressured because he did not want to see his wife's disappointed eyes. Actually, I think the biggest problem is whether you can cultivate to the monarch realm. I can solve some problems. After you introduce them, the rest is my business, Datura said. Are you threatening my parents and family? Night Sorrow turned his head and glared at Datura. You think too much. I said I would do some things well, Datura said, shaking his head. You are wearing a veil now. It is disrespectful, Night Sorrow said. Datura's eyes looked at Night Sorrow through the veil. After a while, he reached out with his right hand and took off the veil. A pair of watery eyes, a straight nose, a pair of oval face with a hint of coldness, and red lips that moved people's hearts. Beautiful. Breathtakingly beautiful. See? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Then let's go. After nodding at the stunned Xie Lanjun, Night Sorrow led Datura to his residence in Sky City. As soon as Night Sorrow arrived at the residence, Yi Wuyo, Yu Qing, and Sikong Chuyu came out to greet him. Night Sorrow, you are fine. Weren't you captured by the Dark Dominator? Sikong Chuyu stepped forward and grabbed Night Sorrow's hand. I was captured. She sent me back and also came to visit us, Night Sorrow said. Look at the original version of the chapter. Sorry, there was a misunderstanding. I invited Night Sorrow to the Dark Abyss as a guest. I didn't make things difficult for him. If you don't believe me, you can ask him. Datura reached out and pulled Night Sorrow to his side. Good, you didn't make things difficult for me. Night Sorrow turned his head and looked to the side. He didn't make things difficult for him, he just gave him a beating. Also, Night Sorrow wants to marry me, but he said his cultivation is too low. He's a bit embarrassed, so he wants to wait and come back to discuss it with everyone. However, I don't think it's a big deal. The most important thing is that the two of them have to like each other. Datura pulled Night Sorrow to his side. Night Sorrow, what's going on? Sikong Chuyu frowned and looked at Night Sorrow. A lot of things happened. Let's talk about it later. Let's go in first. Night Sorrow said and was about to enter the hall. Okay, you haven't been back for a long time. Go out and get some fresh air. I want to talk to my family. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. I want to drink tea. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said. Go out. I'll make tea for you later. Mandela glared at Yi Shang, and with a fling of Luo Xiu, Yi Shang was sent flying out of the mansion's main hall. Night Sorrow was angry, but there was nothing he could do. Datura's fist was big, and he could crush him with a finger. Night Sorrow went to the wine cellar and took 2 jars of wine. Then, he went to the lake and let the boat out. He believed that since Datura had decided to support him, he wouldn't do anything to his family. 2 hours later, Datura landed on the wooden boat in the lake. You're too much of a bully. I came home, but you actually chased me out. Yi Shan sat up straight on the recliner and said. Didn't I want to talk to your family? Datura said with a smile. How was it? What did you say? You didn't threaten me, right? Night Sorrow asked. How can you say that? I already told you that I'll do what a woman should do. I'll chat with uncle, auntie, and sister, and then I'll talk about my relationship with them and how I can help you. How can I do it without a strong relationship? Wait. Then, they didn't say anything else. They just said that they'll have a family dinner tonight. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Some things are very difficult for you. I know it's not easy for you to do these things, but I care about my family the most. This is the motivation for me to work hard. Night Sorrow looked at Datura and said. I've read your information and know your persistence. After making some decisions, I naturally won't touch your bottom line. Also, we have to discuss the next plan. I'll support you, but you can't let others know. I'll be your biggest trump card. Datura said. Then, will the Dark Abyss and the Qing Emperor's dynasty still fight in the future? Night Sorrow looked at Datura and asked. Fight? Why not? However, you have to control it. The main direction is to squeeze the Red Emperor's dynasty. That Red Budo is playing tricks on you. Deal with them in the future. Datura said. Alright, teach me the Great Death Obliteration / Yi Shang asked. That won't do. I've already told your parents and wife, but you haven't said anything. You want to trick me? No way. Datura refused directly. Chapter 1197. Didn't you already agree? Night Sorrow said. You're full of tricks. You tricked 11 armies of the Dark Abyss. If I'm not careful, I'll be tricked by you until not even my bones are left, Datura said to Night Sorrow. A typical case of a petty person envying the heart of a gentleman. Night Sorrow turned his head because Datura's fairy-like face was very lethal. Why don't you look at me when you talk? Datura said with a smile. I'm not used to it, Night Sorrow replied with 3 words. Dinner was a family banquet. Only the original body attended. Of course, Night Sorrow was an exception. Night Sorrow, Aluo already told Mother that she's doing this for your own good. This is a good thing that Chuyu and the others don't object, Yu Qing said. Aluo. Night Sorrow turned his head to look at Datura because Aluo was obviously used to address Datura. I feel that the elders should address each other with a more intimate name, so I called Aluo. You can also call me Aluo in the future. Datura nodded to Night Sorrow. Okay, I know. Night Sorrow nodded. What do you know? Datura elbowed Night Sorrow. I'll call you Aluo in the future. Night Sorrow was a bit speechless. At this moment, Datura was acting like a little girl, full of lethality. I've already told Uncle and Auntie, but you haven't expressed your attitude yet, Datura said. When I reach the monarch realm, I'll go to the dark abyss to marry you. Night Sorrow was a bit helpless. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Datura nodded in satisfaction. Chuyu, 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, Shueshi, I'm very sorry about this. Night Sorrow stood up and said. He didn't want his wife to feel uncomfortable, but he was helpless in this matter. If he didn't compromise, then Datura would really destroy his clone. As for Shueshi, Night Sorrow also treated her as his wife. Alright, it's not like we've known each other for the first time. We all understand. You'll need Sister Luo to take care of you when you're out adventuring. Sikong Chuyu pulled Night Sorrow to sit down. Aoi and Yang Lei smiled and nodded. They understood Night Sorrow and knew that this wasn't his intention. Seeing that Sikong Chuyu and the others' emotions were relatively stable, Night Sorrow finally felt at ease. He really didn't want to make his wife unhappy. He had been running around outside and didn't have time to take care of his family. He already felt very guilty. After dinner, Night Sorrow, his wives, Datura, and Shueshi drank tea on the observation deck. Night Sorrow, that Zhang Taiyang suffered a loss. He'll definitely spread the news and make you a target. Let's not talk about the loss of your clone for now. The main point is that your soul can't be captured, or it will harm your body. This is an annihilation bead. Take it. If you need to self-destruct, activate it. It can annihilate the spreading soul power. This way, others won't be able to follow the soul power of your clone to attack your body. Datura handed Night Sorrow a black bead. Thank you. Night Sorrow took the annihilation bead and nodded. Datura just smiled. She knew that it wasn't easy for Night Sorrow to say thank you because if he didn't feel it from the bottom of his heart, Night Sorrow wouldn't have said these 2 words. Night Sorrow stayed with his family for a few days and planned to return to the world of Samsara. After all, the 9 Heaven Army was still a big mess and had to be dealt with. In addition, he also found time to go to the Heaven Sealing Palace and take everything that belonged to his clone from the 9 region origin bead. His family understood Night Sorrow and knew that Night Sorrow was busy now, so they sent Night Sorrow to the teleportation formation. Night Sorrow and Datura were teleported to the 7-Night City after bowing to his parents. There was a teleportation formation to the 9-story tower in the 7-Night City, so the two separated here. Let's find a place to sit. Datura said. Night Sorrow took Datura to a small lakeside house by the 7 Nights Lake. Your taste is good. The scenery here is very beautiful. If you want to live the life of an ordinary person, it's the best choice. Datura stood by the 7 Nights Lake and said. V*** original. If you like it, you can come and stay at any time. Night Sorrow said to Datura. Okay, you have to work hard. If you don't have the cultivation of a monarch, you can't do a real high-level battle. This is a concentric crystal. Take one. If you activate it, you can communicate with me directly. Datura took out 2 crystals and handed one to Night Sorrow and put the other into his sleeve. I will work hard. Night Sorrow nodded. You might think that our relationship isn't simple and that there are other things in it, but that's not the case. Datura is very important to me. I didn't use you or treat you half-heartedly. Also, to be honest, I admire you. Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said seriously. Actually, when you first mentioned it, I was very against it. In my world, feelings and benefits are 2 different things. I can't use my feelings to do things. However, after coming to my house, I know that you've lowered your attitude. This is very difficult for you. Night Sorrow nodded. He wasn't a fool and could analyze some things on his own. Then let's not talk about this. Let's talk business. The Dark Abyss has a stronghold in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. When we return, I will mobilize a group of my Bloodstrike guards. They will be ready to listen to your orders and help you solve some problems. Also, you have to be careful, Datura said. It's fine. Don't worry too much. I've lived very well in the past few years. This time, I brought a lot of harm to the Dark Abyss and you, but it wasn't my intention, Night Sorrow said. I'm very happy to hear you say that. In the future, the Dark Abyss will fight with the Qing Emperor's dynasty, but it will only be small fights. The Dark Warriors will also be eliminated. However, the main battlefield will be in the Red Emperor's dynasty. Red Emperor bullied you, so we will bully him, Datura said with a smile. You even know this. When you smile, you look much better than when you are fierce. Night Sorrow also smiled. I know all the people who bullied you. I will deal with them bit by bit. The 9 Firmament World Group is now protected by the Qing Emperor's dynasty. However, there are still some things that are not handled properly. The Tsangyan Monarch and the Demon Moon Realm Lord shouldn't be alive. I will handle this well and give you a stable backing, Datura said. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and didn't refuse. Now, he could say that he had an engagement with Datura. He had also told his parents that he would try to get in touch with him. If he refused, it would seem strange. After that, Datura asked Night Sorrow how to explain it to the Qing Emperor. After that, Night Sorrow returned safely. There had to be an explanation. The agreement between the 2 of them couldn't be said. Datura meant that Night Sorrow found a suitable excuse. However, Night Sorrow felt that there was no need. He planned to directly tell the Qing Emperor that he had solved the problem by himself. However, he didn't betray the Qing Emperor's dynasty and didn't betray his sect. That's fine too. The Qing Emperor cultivates the noble Tao. There is no problem with his mind. If you say so, even if he has doubts, he won't ask. There are some things that he can't think of. Datura's face blushed. Chapter 1198. Yeah. Even I didn't expect it. Night Sorrow smiled. Everything that had happened recently was too strange. Night Sorrow wasn't prepared for it. Alright, you can go now. I'll stay here for a few days. The scenery here is so beautiful that I can relax. By the way, give me one of the teleportation crystals. I'll connect this place to the Dark Abyss. That way, I can come here whenever I want. It'll also be convenient for us to meet in 7 Night City, Datura said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and gave Datura one of the teleportation crystals in 7 Night City. Then, he went to the teleportation array and teleported to 9 grand floors. Your Highness. Your Highness, you're back. Are you alright? Summer City was very excited to see Night Sorrow. Uncle Xia, don't you see that I'm fine? Yi Shang said with a smile. It's good that you're fine. If not, I wouldn't be able to see anyone. During this period of time, Xia Cheng had been feeling guilty. Although things had turned out unexpectedly, he had still failed in his duty as a path protector. Let's go see Master, Night Sorrow said. He had to tell Qing Emperor that he was back. Night Sorrow and Summer City had just arrived at the Azure Sky Pavilion when Xian Daozi brought them in. After entering the Azure Sky Pavilion, Night Sorrow bowed to Qing Emperor and greeted Sandalwood, "Master, I'm back." "Greetings, senior brother. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." Qing Emperor stood up when he saw Night Sorrow. "Junior brother, that woman made things difficult for you." "I'll remember this," Sandalwood said. "Why did she let you come back?" Qing Emperor asked. "I had some agreements with her. But don't worry, Master. I didn't betray Master or Qing Emperor's dynasty." Night Sorrow bowed and said. "You don't have to say that. I know you well. You're a virtuous person. Naturally, you wouldn't do anything that would harm your reputation and morals. It's good that you're back safely." Qing Emperor shook his head. "Thank you, Master, for your understanding." Night Sorrow bowed again. "Your agreement won't affect your future development?" Qing Emperor asked. "It won't. It's just a personal agreement." Night Sorrow said. "Read novels for free forever, then continue to be the commander of your army. Right now, you are in the process of increasing your cultivation. You need resources, which means you need the support of contribution points. Also, you have to pay attention to your safety. Right now, news about you can no longer be hidden. You have caused quite a commotion in the world of reincarnation." Emperor Qing said. As Datura expected, Zhang Taiyang not only released the news about Night Sorrow, but also added something else. Now, many sovereigns and magnates had their eyes on Night Sorrow. Ordinary things were not attractive to sovereigns and magnates. However, since Zhang Taiyang wanted to make Qing Emperor and Night Sorrow suffer, he naturally had a way to explain the news. Now, the news in the world of samsara was that Night Sorrow had the artifact of Heavenly Tao, Haotian Godly Pagoda. He also had the origin of time and space. Artifact of Heavenly Tao? What's Haotian Godly Pagoda? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. Artifact of Heavenly Tao is above all kings' weapons and monarchs' weapons. It's a treasure nurtured by Heavenly Tao. Such treasures are extremely rare. Only a few have been born. Artifacts of Heavenly Tao cannot be refined. The Haotian Godly Pagoda appeared many years ago and caused countless people to fight for it. In the end, it was a fight between two of the strongest people, which shattered countless worlds. The Haotian Godly Pagoda disappeared, and you have the Space Treasure Pagoda. Zhang Taiyang deliberately misled people, Qing Emperor said. What a despicable person, Night Sorrow cursed. He's a despicable person. Everyone in the world of samsara knows that. However, he cultivates many strange and evil techniques and is very good at scheming. So, no one wants to offend him, Xian Daozi said. I'll be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Qing Emperor gave Night Sorrow a annihilation pearl. He wasn't worried about Night Sorrow's doppelganger dying. He was worried that someone would use the soul of Night Sorrow's doppelganger to attack Night Sorrow's true body. There's another thing I have to report to Master. I've studied 7 types of formation arrays, but I have to give up on 2 of them. I can only use other formations in the future, Night Sorrow said. Why? Qing Emperor asked. Your disciple made a deal with the Darkness Sovereign. I used 2 sets of combination array diagrams to trade for an ancient formation, the 9 Serenities Slaughtering God formation. Night Sorrow took out the 9 Serenities Slaughtering God formation diagram. 9 Serenities Slaughter God formation. I've heard of this formation array in the ancient records. It's an incredible formation array. 2 sets of formation arrays can't be exchanged for it. You've made a profit this time, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Then, Master, take it and study it. Night Sorrow knew that Qing Emperor was obsessed with formations, so he didn't plan on hiding it. This is your opportunity. Take it and study it when you have time. Qing Emperor didn't take the formation array from Night Sorrow. After chatting for a while in the Azure Sky Pavilion, Night Sorrow returned to the 9 Grand Pagoda and went to Sky Tiger Pass. The soldiers of the Nine Heavens army were very happy to see Night Sorrow. They were worried that something had happened to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was their backbone. Only when Night Sorrow returned did they feel at ease. When Night Sorrow returned to the Nine Grand Pagoda, Hong Yi and Laning also returned. They felt that Night Sorrow should have their own people by his side. Night Sorrow didn't refuse. As Night Sorrow sat in the hall, thinking about how to deal with the upcoming crisis, the same heart crystal in his sleeve vibrated. Night Sorrow nodded at Summer City, Hong Yi, and Laning. He entered the secret cultivation room and took out the same heart crystal. Inside the same heart crystal was Datura's figure. You passed Qing Emperor's test? Datura asked. Yes, Master didn't ask much. He did remind me of something. Night Sorrow told him the news Qing Emperor told him to Datura. That Zhang Taiyang is a despicable person. I will kill him in the future, Datura said hatefully. Are you still in Seven Night City? Night Sorrow looked at the scenery behind Datura. How many days do you plan to stay here? Are you in the secret cultivation room? Datura asked. Yes, Uncle Xia and the others are around. It's not convenient. Night Sorrow nodded. Summer City is not bad. With him by your side, only a powerhouse can harm you. It's a good thing. It's just that it's not convenient for us to communicate. Also, after I send the Blood Strike guards over, you have to go there. The stronghold is a tavern. You can go there in the name of drinking, Datura said. Yes, I know. You have offended Zhang Taiyang. You have to be careful, Night Sorrow said. Okay. Also, don't worry about Seven Night City. I will make some arrangements. I have done my best, right? Stop fooling around outside. Your wives can tolerate you, but I can't, Datura said. Chapter 1199. And BSP to read this book. What are you talking about? I'm not that kind of person, Night Sorrow said speechlessly. Following this, Mandela told Night Sorrow that his current level was not high enough and that he needed to be a mid-level sovereign king to be able to cultivate the death annihilation /. Moreover, he needed to comprehend it by analogy because Night Sorrow did not have the death attribute. I know. I haven't mastered the Qing Emperor's reincarnation / that master taught me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Good that you know. Send me a message if you need anything, Datura said and hung up the call. Night Sorrow came out of the secret training room and took out 2 jars of wine. He then asked the servants to prepare some dishes. Uncle Summer, I'm sorry that you got hurt because of me. I can only offer you these 2 jars of wine, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness, please don't say that. It's my fault. I didn't expect a powerful figure to take action. I'm really not his match, Summer City said as he stood up. Uncle Summer, please don't say that. Night Sorrow understands some things. Night Sorrow poured wine for Summer City. When Night Sorrow and Summer City were drinking, Green Phoenix and Green Phoenix came. They came to visit when they heard that Night Sorrow had returned. Night Sorrow also invited them to sit down and drink. The war this time is a crisis. The crisis was passed with the help of Junior Brother Yi. However, Junior Brother Yi's own crisis is also a problem. I'm not being hypocritical. I truly hope that Junior Brother Yi can sit in the position of commander of the army. Qing Luan said. It's good that you don't reject me. I'll do my own thing. I won't fight for things that I shouldn't. Advertisement, Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. Yeah, there's nothing to fight for. You're the #1 commander of Dynasty. Even if there's a big war, we'll be prepared to fight. You'll be behind us, Green Phoenix said. Haha. When it's time for the Nine Heavens army to fight, we will not cower. I, Night Sorrow, will not cower either. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, I'm your senior brother. I just took some detours. Fortunately, I'm back on track. I'm in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If you need my help, I won't be stingy, Qinglin said. This is what His Majesty wants to see the most. Your Highnesses, the Crown Prince and the Princess, the most important thing for His Majesty to accept a disciple is their character. Whether it is Her Highness Sandalwood or His Highness Night Sorrow, there is no problem with this. The onlooker sees more clearly. Your Highnesses are overthinking. Summer City said. Qinglin and Qingluan cupped their hands toward Summer City. After experiencing some things, they also understood some things. Night Sorrow, thank you for saving Qingyuan. Qinglin poured a glass of wine for Night Sorrow. While Night Sorrow and the others were drinking, the Qing Emperor and Xian Daozi were chatting. Your Majesty, why don't you ask His Highness Night Sorrow about the agreement he made with the Dark Dominator? Xian Daozi was a bit suspicious. He was worried that there might be something that would harm the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Chapter 4H4 Although Night Sorrow doesn't deliberately cultivate the way of the noble, he cultivates virtue in his daily life. If he says he didn't do anything against virtue, then he didn't. He could make up a reason, but he didn't. Why? Because a man can support both heaven and earth. He disdains lying, the Qing Emperor said. That's true. If he has a virtuous body, then there's no problem with virtue. I'm just curious, Xian Daozi said. There are some things that you don't understand, but the Dark Dominator does. She made the right choice. Besides, she won't gain anything by killing Night Sorrow's doppelganger. She doesn't care about offending Zhang Taiyang, but it doesn't make sense for her to become my enemy for no reason, the Qing Emperor said. This woman is ruthless. She killed Zhang Taiyang's doppelganger with one strike. She's decisive and powerful, Xian Daozi said. Of course. She's one of the most powerful sky masters. Besides, Zhang Taiyang crossed the line. No matter what conflicts we have with the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's kingdom, it's the eastern district of the world of Samsara. If he wants to cause trouble in the eastern district, neither the Red Emperor nor the Dark Dominator will tolerate it, the Qing Emperor said. That's right. This is one of the reasons why the Eastern District takes up the most cultivation time in the Samsara Palace. Xian Daozi nodded. He understood that this was the big picture. The Eastern District was fighting fiercely, but if other people came, the three parties wouldn't tolerate it. Then the Qing Emperor gave an order. If the Dark Abyss property in the Qing Emperor's kingdom was not excessive, they would turn a blind eye and not expel it. Xian Daozi didn't understand, but he still carried out the order. The Qing Emperor knew that the Dark Dominator, Datura, must have found out about Night Sorrow's secret, so he chose to support Night Sorrow. He thought that was why Night Sorrow didn't want to talk about it. Master, I plan to go out for a walk and settle down. Then I'll go to the Samsara Palace to cultivate. If I can take another step forward, I'll be able to help you in the future. There are many battles now, and I can't get involved, Sandalwood said. Go. Right now, the heavenly Tao is changing. Many people will have opportunities. Your junior brother's appearance may have given you an opportunity. Of course, it may also be bad luck. It's all up to you. The Qing Emperor nodded. I'll work hard. I was disheartened before, but now I have a reason to fight. Junior brother is still weak. I want to protect him, Sandalwood said. Also, you've been in the Demon's Ceiling Tower for 5 million years. People often come to see you, so you should do something. We have a long lifespan, but 5 million years is enough to prove something. If you like her, then marry her, the Qing Emperor said. Master, you know. I'm going to do that. Sandalwood's determined face looked a little unnatural. The Qing Emperor waved his hand and dismissed Sandalwood. The Qing Emperor fell into deep thought. He didn't tell anyone about the pressure in his heart, not even Xian Daozi or Summer City. The main reason was that the matter was too big. When he found out that Night Sorrow had supreme attributes, the Qing Emperor decided to take the matter on his shoulders and suppress him. Now he knew that the Dark Dominator was also willing to stand in this line. However, some things happened too suddenly. Because of Zhang Taiyang's appearance and interference, the situation became difficult to control. The Qing Emperor felt that he needed to see Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow had made contributions, so there was no problem with his cultivation in the Samsara Palace. Night Sorrow's original body couldn't come out. When the Qing Emperor appeared, Night Sorrow and the others were still drinking. When they saw the Qing Emperor appear, they all stood up and bowed to greet him. Very good. If you can sit together and drink, it means that many things have passed. A person must be open-minded. Nothing is serious except death. Alright, you guys go back. Night Sorrow, I have something to say to you. The Qing Emperor looked at his children and walked into the hall. Night Sorrow nodded and followed. He didn't know what the Qing Emperor wanted to say. Chapter 1200. For a book, please go to $. After entering the main hall, the Qing Emperor waved his hand and set up a bounded domain. Sit down. There are some things that you didn't tell me, and that's the right thing to do. The appearance of a supreme attribute will cause a bloodbath, and the giants won't allow it, because once you succeed, you will suppress them. No one wants to see such a situation. I support you because a master and disciple are like father and son. Mandela must have her reasons for supporting you. I won't ask about these things, but your own safety is very important, said Emperor Qing. Sorry, I didn't mean to hide it from you. I know it's a big deal, so I plan to wait until the void attribute enters the king's realm. Night Sorrow was a little embarrassed. Don't leave the Samsara Palace when you enter the king's realm. You have millions of merits now. You can exchange them for cultivation time later. You can't cultivate in the Samsara Palace. You can use your doppelganger to fight in the outside world. With the annihilation bead, it doesn't matter if your doppelganger is destroyed. The Qing Emperor said. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow, the world of Samsara is very complicated. Some forces are even more powerful. I can't touch them. For example, the celestial sect in the southern region of the world of Samsara. They don't have any sky masters, but they are still a top force. No sky master dares to make trouble for them because no one can afford to. Therefore, even a heaven master would have his concerns. What I want is for you to rise up safely and achieve success in your cultivation, the Azure Emperor said earnestly. Read the full text. I've troubled you, Master. Night Sorrow bowed again. You don't have to be so polite with me. If the world of Samsara is really chaotic, you can go to other worlds. I'm not familiar with the Shenwu Great World, but I have good friends in the Xianhuang world. But it's still early. The Qing Emperor said. After talking with Night Sorrow for a while, the Qing Emperor left. He came to emphasize the importance of this matter to Night Sorrow, because Night Sorrow was too young. Night Sorrow also fell into deep thought. He knew the matter was serious. It was Zhang Taiyang's irresponsible words that dragged him into the deep pit. The artifact of the Heavenly Way was very powerful. It could increase the combat power of the Sky Masters by a lot. Whoever got it could become a top figure among the Sky Masters. Night Sorrow didn't have a chance to defend himself. But who would have thought that the Qing Emperor would have to think twice before causing trouble? If some small characters entered the Qing Emperor's city, the Qing Emperor wouldn't interfere. But if a monarch came to the Qing Emperor's city, there would be an explanation. Without a suitable reason, the Qing Emperor wouldn't be polite. Cultivating the way of the gentleman was good, but if someone had ulterior motives, there would only be one word for it, death. Yi Shang stayed in the 9-layer building and studied array formations every day. Sometimes, he would refine pills and forge artifacts. He Qiu and Jun Xuanji were still taking orders. Yi Shang needed to fuse the array formations he had learned with artifact forging. In addition, he also needed to cultivate his proficiency in alchemy. The 9 secret slaughtering god formation was very profound. It wasn't something that could be mastered in a day or two. It also required a very deep foundation. Night Sorrow wasn't in a hurry. He just studied it every day. What surprised the people of Summer City was that Night Sorrow would go back to his room to rest every day. This shouldn't be normal. In fact, Night Sorrow was communicating with Datura Datura. On RH Datura Datura had some changes. She liked to use the concentric crystal to chat with Night Sorrow. Even if she didn't have anything to do, she would talk for a while. Therefore, Night Sorrow would go back to his room to rest every day. In fact, he was talking to Datura Datura. Datura Datura was as gentle as water with Night Sorrow. However, she was extremely ruthless to others. She found the Moon Demon Realm Lord and killed her. However, she couldn't find the Tsangyan monarch. His original body was killed, and only his clone was left. Therefore, she was extremely cautious and didn't appear. Of Luo, you don't have to worry too much. We can't find that fellow if he hides. Moreover, his original body was killed. The battle strength of his clone is also ordinary. If he dares to go to the Heaven Profound World, then the Black Heaven Monarch will be able to kill him. If you don't want to return to the Dark Abyss, then go to the small house beside the Seven-Night Lake to rest. Night Sorrow looked at Datura Datura through the concentric crystal and said. At this moment, Datura Datura was still searching for the Tsangyan monarch in the Sky Dome realm. You call me of Luo. That's right, they are looking for trouble with you because of the soul-cultivating liquid. I want it too. I haven't used the soul-cultivating liquid before. It can still increase my strength. Datura Datura said. Alright, then go to the small house beside the lake in the Seven-Night City. When you arrive, send me a message and I will send it to you. However, you are already a Sky Master. Can you still increase your strength? Night Sorrow asked. I haven't used the soul-cultivating liquid before. Therefore, there is still room for improvement. Hee, after my strength increases, some bastards won't be my match. That includes that bastard Red Emperor. If Zhan Taiyang continues to jump around happily, I will go and kill his original body. Datura Datura said with a smile. Alright, inform me when you arrive at the Seven-Night City. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow could feel that Datura Datura's attitude towards him had undergone a fundamental change. It was even a little clingy. However, Datura Datura was genuinely good to him and was also thinking for him. Therefore, if he could help, Night Sorrow would definitely not refuse. With nothing to do, Night Sorrow rested for a while before continuing to study the magic array. When he felt the concentric crystal in his sleeve vibrate, Night Sorrow stood up and said, Uncle Summer, I will return to the city in the sky and get some wine. You don't need me to follow you? Summer City asked. No need. I will just use the teleportation array. No one will be able to intercept or discover me. I will be back soon. Night Sorrow said. Alright then. Your Highness will return once you are done with your matters. It is not safe outside. Summer City nodded. Night Sorrow took the teleportation array and teleported to the Seven-Night City. Then, he went to the small lakeside building. In the small lakeside building, Datura Datura, who was wearing a black dress embroidered with Datura Datura, stood facing the wind. Why didn't you take the concentric crystal? Datura Datura glared at Night Sorrow. Why are you throwing a tantrum over this? I have other people around me. I knew you were here, so I came directly. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You look very spirited in your black battle robe. It suits me very well. Datura Datura looked at Night Sorrow and said. Her black dress was embroidered with a golden mandala, while Night Sorrow's black robe was embroidered with golden edges. This is the battle robe of His Highness of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. In the past, I did not wear it. However, Uncle Xia said that if I don't wear it, others will not recognize me and will not respect me. After saying that, Night Sorrow handed the 3 drops of soul cultivation liquid to Datura Datura. At least you have a conscience. You took it out without me asking. I will refine it myself. In the future, when my doppelganger has matters to handle, take me to the spacetime pagoda and use time acceleration to refine it. That way, it won't waste my time, Datura said. Alright, I will send you there. After saying that, Night Sorrow led Datura to the teleportation array. They teleported to Sky City and to the lakeside. I will talk to Little Kong. In the future, you can enter and leave as you wish, Night Sorrow said. At this moment, however, Datura's eyes were filled with surprise. Night Sorrow, the rumors are true. This is the divine clear sky pagoda. Chapter 1201. The website updates fast, the page is clean, and there are few advertisements. I like this kind of website the most. I must give a good review. Are you kidding me? It used to be called the Sky Bearing Pagoda. After I got it, I changed its name to the Spacetime Pagoda. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, although it is now damaged, I am sure that it is the Hautian Godly Pagoda. Others might not be able to recognize it, but I can. When the Hautian Godly Pagoda caused a dispute, I also participated. I will not forget its aura. This is the Hautian Godly Pagoda. However, I don't understand why it is damaged. Datura said seriously. At this time, Night Sorrow was also stunned. He did not expect that a casual rumor from Zhang Taiyang would become true. This is a disaster. You must keep it a secret. Otherwise, the world will really be in chaos. Datura said. Night Sorrow nodded. He also remembered something. He had upgraded the Dragon Cauldron to a king artifact, but the Spacetime Pagoda did not. This was because he did not understand the array within the Spacetime Pagoda. Then, Night Sorrow and Shao Kong talked for a while. The Spacetime Pagoda was open to Datura. Okay, take this first. Go to 7 Night City and wait for me. My clone will be there soon. Datura handed the concentric crystal to Night Sorrow. Then, he flashed into the Spacetime Pagoda. Night Sorrow did not stay in the Spacetime Pagoda for long. He greeted his parents, took some tea and wine, and talked to his wife. He told her to rest well and told her not to leave the 9 regions world before returning to 7 Night City. Almost all the books you want to read are here. It is much more stable than the average website. The updates are faster, and there are no advertisements. After waiting for a while in the lakeside building, Datura appeared. The clone was similar to the original body. Night Sorrow handed the concentric crystal to Datura. The original body is similar to the avatar. You can't tell them apart. Of course. I'm different from other cultivators. I'm a mandala. My main body is the main stem while my clones are the offshoots. Our strength is about the same. I estimated that refining 1 drop will take 20 years. Refining all of it will take around 50 to 60 years, Datura said. Didn't you say that refining a drop of soul cultivation liquid takes 100 years? How did you do it in 20 years? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. That is for ordinary sovereigns. I have the death attribute, and I have a perfect will. I can kill sovereigns at will. Naturally, we are on a different level, Datura said with a smile. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'll head back, Night Sorrow said. Can't you stay for a while? Datura asked Night Sorrow. Looking at Datura's suffocating face, Night Sorrow shook his head. Luo, I'm under a lot of pressure right now. Okay, then go. Datura nodded with a smile. In fact, Datura knew why Night Sorrow was under so much pressure. She knew that Night Sorrow was overcautious and did not know how to get along with her. When a beauty was placed in front of him, he did not know how to get along with her. He was at a loss. Datura liked this feeling. Night Sorrow did not reject her and restrained her like a child. Datura also knew that after meeting Night Sorrow, some of the wheel of fate had started to spin. For example, countless years had passed, and her strength had not improved at all. However, after meeting Night Sorrow for a short time, she had obtained the soul cultivation liquid and improved her strength again. Night Sorrow returned to the 9-layer pagoda and patted his chest. Facing Datura, he was under a lot of pressure. Sitting in the main hall of the 9-layer pagoda, Night Sorrow was thinking about another problem. That was the Clear Sky God Pagoda. Normally, a heavenly Tao divine artifact should not appear in a small world like the 9 regions world. However, when Yi Shang thought about it, he felt that the Clear Sky Divine Pagoda might have fallen into the profound heaven world when they were madly fighting for it back then. He wondered which unlucky bastard of the South Sky Empire had obtained it and was killed when he went on a killing spree. The Clear Sky Divine Pagoda then fell into the 9 domains world and became the #1 treasure of the Qingtian region. After many twists and turns, it fell into his hands. Night Sorrow did not know how to restore the Clear Sky God Pagoda, which was also the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda. He was powerless now because he could not solve the Time Array and the Space Array. The 9 Underworld Slaughtering God Array was an ancient array that involved Time Array and Space Array. It even had the element of destruction. However, he had just come into contact with it. He did not know when he would be able to figure it out. A few days later, Datura told Night Sorrow that a group of blood-robed guards had infiltrated the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They were now staying in a restaurant not far from the 9-layer pagoda and could be mobilized at any time. In addition, the monarch-ranked blood-robed guards were under strict surveillance in the Qing Emperor's dynasty and would only arrive later. The blood-robed guards were on the same level as the Qing Emperor's guard. It would be difficult for them to infiltrate the Qing Emperor's dynasty. In addition, Datura also told Night Sorrow that the Qing Emperor's dynasty had loosened the restrictions on the exchange of resources from the Dark Abyss. Some of the businesses in the Dark Abyss were not suppressed. Night Sorrow smiled as he lay on the bed and held the concentric crystal. It seems that the Qing Emperor's dynasty has changed their strategy. Master might have his reasons for doing so. That should be the case. There is another batch of resources in that restaurant. You can go and get it later. If others follow closely, send Hong Yi or Lan Ning. I have already instructed the blood-robed guards to recognize Hong Yi and Lan Ning. They can go on your behalf, Datura said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Datura had already considered some things. On this day, while Night Sorrow was deducing the array, the Qing Emperor's guard came to inform Night Sorrow that the Qing Emperor wanted him to go to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Night Sorrow did not know what was going on. He tidied up his robes and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Take a look at this soft armor. Do you like it? You refined a half-body armor, so its defense is not good enough. This is a monarch-grade soft armor that I refined for you. The Qing Emperor took out a set of soft armor and placed it in front of Night Sorrow. Thank you for your hard work, Master, Night Sorrow said as he bowed. At the time, I said that as long as you could take down the Sky Tiger Pass, would refine a monarch-grade armor for you. I never break my promises to others, let alone to my disciples, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. Thank you, Master. Where is my senior brother? Why don't I see him? Night Sorrow was surprised that he did not see Sandalwood. Your senior brother has been in the Devil's Ceiling Tower for 5 million years. He has been suppressed for 5 million years. He accompanied me during this period of time to fulfill his filial piety. He has his own path to explore, and there are other matters that he needs to resolve. After the calamity is over, a new sky awaits him. As for the other matters, I don't want to explain too much. In the future, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will not seal off the Dark Abyss. However, there are some things that cannot be overdone. If you can go, tell her what I think, the Qing Emperor said. Night Sorrow bowed. He understood why. Some words would be meaningless if spoken directly. Night Sorrow knew it, the Qing Emperor knew it, and Datura knew it. That was enough. In addition, I also received some news that the Black Fiend Valley has made a move. Their target is you. Some people have already infiltrated our Qing Emperor's dynasty. Although I have put up a defense, it is not a foolproof plan. So, you have to be careful. They all want the Qing Emperor's pagoda. They are crazy, the Qing Emperor muttered. Chapter 1202. Master, Knight Sorrow said, looking around. Tell me. Xian Daozi is my old brother. You have to call him Uncle Xian Daozi, Qing Emperor said. Zhan Taiyang was right about the Haotian godly pagoda. It is in my hands, but it is damaged, Knight Sorrow said. Are you saying that the space-time pagoda you placed in the 9-layer pagoda with the ability to accelerate time was the Haotian godly pagoda? Qing Emperor stood up in shock. Yes, but it is damaged. It is missing a part, Knight Sorrow said. Zhan Taiyang is such a despicable person. He guessed right. It is damaged. Can it be repaired? Qing Emperor asked. I don't know. When I entered the king's realm, I upgraded all my weapons and armor, but the space-time pagoda could not. The implement spirit told me that the space-time pagoda was damaged, Knight Sorrow said. Your Majesty, my divination skills are not very good now because of what happened to your highness. I still need a few years to recover, Xian Daozi said, bowing to Qing Emperor. Knight Sorrow, you can't rush this. When your uncle Xian Daozi recovers, I will help you with the divination and see where the Haotian godly pagoda is damaged. You have to find it, Qing Emperor said. He was extremely shocked. This was the blessing of the heavens. He actually had a heavenly divine artifact. It was something that others could not see even if they wanted to. Thank you, Master, but I am not in a hurry. I am still weak now. I should improve my strength first, Knight Sorrow said. Good. That is a good attitude. Qing Emperor nodded. Then Knight Sorrow took the soft armor and left. He could not use the full power of the monarch-grade soft armor, but it was definitely better than the king-grade armor. Seeing Knight Sorrow leave, Qing Emperor poured a cup of tea. This disciple is good at cultivation and character. I don't need to worry about him, but he is so troublesome. Is your Majesty not happy? Sandalwood and the other 2 imperial highnesses might have accumulated more resources than he did in other aspects, but when it came to destiny, they were far inferior. Xian Daozi said. Yes, Datura also saw this. Let's not talk about this anymore. As for the Empire of Darkness, it's best to relax as much as possible. Because of Knight Sorrow's existence, Datura won't mess around. She won't make Knight Sorrow unhappy, said Qing Emperor. The only original version, P equals all of them are pirates, a version Xian Daozi nodded. He knew that Qing Emperor and Datura had already reached a consensus on some matters, and the starting point was Knight Sorrow. After Knight Sorrow returned to the 9 grand floors, he entered the secret cultivation room and recognized the flexible armor as its master. Qing Emperor's craftsmanship was not something Knight Sorrow could compare to. After refining, the flexible armor became a bracelet. It was called the 9 heavy armor. While Knight Sorrow was studying the armor, Nu Lin, 7 Ju, Qi Wang, and Storm arrived. Their expressions did not look good. What's wrong? Why haven't I received any battle reports? Knight Sorrow stood up and asked. Your Majesty, please give justice to the former Sky Tiger army. 7 Ju got down on one knee. Qi Wang and Storm also got down on one knee. Get up. Get up and talk. What happened? Nu Lin, tell me. What happened? Knight Sorrow asked after helping them up. It's Chidu. After the soldiers of Sky Tiger Pass returned, because of their oath, they did not want to be soldiers anymore. However, the Red Emperor's Chidu, who is in charge of law, felt that this was betrayal and killed them all. Nu Lin was very angry. Shameless. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and broke the tea set on the table in front of him. He's an animal. He has never led an army before. He doesn't know how to be a soldier. What he did this time is infuriating, Seven Jew said. In the end, it's my fault. I will kill Chidu. Night Sorrow was infuriated. The soldiers of the Sky Tiger Legion were all unyielding men, yet they had been killed by Chi-Du just like that. We are here to ask for battle. This time, Chi-Du has asked for battle and formed an army. Now, he and Chi-Hua's army are coming from two directions, forming a pincer attack on Heaven Tiger Pass. 7 Absolute said. Let the brothers of the Black Tiger army grieve. They don't have to worry about this. Let them rest in the 9 heavenly floors. I will lead the army. Night Sorrow made a decision. Your Highness, you worry too much. When Chidu attacked our brothers, the Black Tiger army had nothing to do with the Red Emperor's kingdom. We only want to avenge our brothers. We will not avoid battle, 7 Jew said. That's good. Go back and organize the battle report. I will be there soon, Night Sorrow said. Nu Lin left with 7 Jew and the others. Night Sorrow's emotions had not calmed down. He was the one who broke Sky Tiger Pass. That was why Chidu's army was massacred. It had a lot to do with him. Your Highness, you have things to do now. You have to be extra careful when you go out. It is possible that there are a few experts hiding in the enemy's army, Summer City said. I know, but this time, I have to give the soldiers an explanation, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow brought Summer City, Red E, Lan Ning, and Fei Xiu to Sky Tiger Pass. They led the Qing Emperor's guardian team. When Night Sorrow arrived, the 7 armies of the 9 Heaven Army gathered in place. Brothers, we are soldiers who protect our country. The Sky Tiger Army used to be soldiers too. However, the Red Emperor's kingdom did things that angered both man and God. Soldiers can die on the battlefield and be slaughtered innocently. I cannot accept that. So, I have to fight. I want the Red Emperor's kingdom to pay the price for disrespecting our soldiers, Night Sorrow said to the group of soldiers. The reply to Night Sorrow was the sound of armor being knocked. Nu Lin, send out scouts. Investigate for me, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Night Sorrow then went to the ceiling sky matrix. He opened a small gap in the matrix that allowed only one person to pass through. Then, he returned to the headquarters and continued to write the battle report. After he finished writing the battle report and stamped it with his seal, Night Sorrow asked Nu Lin to go to the military headquarters to review it. Legions had to be approved by the military headquarters to go to war. However, under normal circumstances, the battle report from the commander of a legion would not be rejected. After the military headquarters discussed it, they would report it to the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor only took a quick look at it because legions would not go to war without reason. After the battle report was written, Night Sorrow waited for the military headquarters' reply and the scouts' reply. Then, Night Sorrow checked the ceiling sky matrix and the ceiling sky matrix. When he was in the matrix, Night Sorrow and Datura chatted for a while. Datura did not object to Night Sorrow declaring war on the Red Emperor's kingdom. She reminded Night Sorrow not to be tricked by the hidden people in the Legion. This was not the intention of the Red Emperor's kingdom. Now that the eastern region of the world of Samsara was turbulent, it was possible for outsiders to sneak into the Legion. After returning to the commander's mansion, Yishang pondered. Right now, he had to focus all his efforts on cultivating the will of nothingness. After that, he could tell the reincarnation palace that he needed to combine wills. At that time, he would be able to comprehend the 3 types of wills together. Chapter 1203. Now, Night Sorrow needed to learn the basics of the will of nothingness. Then, his Emperor reincarnation / could be upgraded to the king level. His combat power would be greatly increased. When the Qing Emperor used the Emperor reincarnation / it used high-level attributes as its core and combined with other normal attributes. However, when it was used by Night Sorrow, it used the supreme attribute as its core. The two were not on the same level. Knight Sorrow felt that if his Earth reincarnation / was also trained to the king level, he could kill a mid-level king. He would not be in such a difficult situation like when he fought Wu Jia. While Knight Sorrow was thinking, Nu Lin, who had gone to ask for instructions, came back. The military had agreed, and so had the Qing Emperor. The Qing Emperor's dynasty had taken down Tianhu Pass, but it was currently blocked by 2 armies. Tianhu Pass could only be used as a defensive fortification. It could not be used as an attack platform. In addition, Qing Lin and Qing Yuan had also come. The empire was at war, and they were willing to cooperate with Knight Sorrow. That's good. You guys attack the other defensive line of the Red Emperor's country. Ever since the Red Emperor's Sky Tiger army had problems, the army's strength has decreased. If you guys attack, the Tianhu Pass will be weaker. However, your army is not full yet. There are only 3 armies. Be careful, Knight Sorrow said. Okay, then we will go back and prepare. We will go out. Qing Yuan nodded. One more thing. People die in war. It is the fate of soldiers to die on the battlefield. However, after you win, just destroy the city lord's residence. Kill the city lord and plunder his resources. Don't hurt the innocent people. Knight Sorrow thought for a while and reminded them. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan nodded and left Tianhu Pass. Don't hurt the innocent. This is very similar to father. Our courage and magnanimity are still lacking, Qing Lin said. That's right. We can't help but admire his ability. His magnanimity is also something that ordinary people don't have. Also, I admire him for being able to return safely from the dark abyss. Of course, I don't think he will do anything that will harm his dignity and betray the empire, Qing Yuan said. He will tell father the details, but there is no need to explain it to others. Let's go back and prepare for the attack. The 9 Heaven Army and Knight Sorrow were famous in the last war. This might be our chance, Qing Lin said. Qing Lin said. He also had dreams of revenge in his heart because the children of Emperor Qing also needed to stand up. They could not just be famous disciples. While waiting for the scouts' battle report, Knight Sorrow familiarized himself with the 9 heavy armor. The Azure Supreme the Arch knew what Knight Sorrow's element was. Hence, within the 9-layered armor, there were space and time arrays. This was a level that Knight Sorrow had yet to explore. As long as Knight Sorrow activated his energy, the space and time arrays would be activated. Most of the attacks would be blocked. It depended on the level of the attacker. 2 days later, the scouts reported that the Red Emperor's 2 armies were here. The other lines of defense were relatively empty. In terms of defense, the Qihua army's defense was better. The people under the Qi-Du army were a bit messy. Continue scouting. The Qihua army is secondary. Keep an eye on the Qi-Du army. Don't give me a chance. If I do, I'll kill him, Knight Sorrow ordered. The Qi-Du army's actions had touched Knight Sorrow's bottom line. Knight Sorrow waited. He waited for Qing Lin and Qing Yuan army to move first. Then, he would see how the Qihua army and the Qi-Du army would react. No matter who moved first, he would deal with the Qi-Du army. As long as the 2 armies were separated, that would be his chance. The 7 armies within the Heaven Tiger Pass were training intensely every day. They were cultivating the combined attack formation. In the previous battle, everyone had seen the might of the combined attack formation. It was a treasure that could kill enemies and save lives. While Yi Shang was waiting, the Crimson Emperor Kingdom received the news that Qing Lin and Qing Yuan were going out on 2 fronts. They moved quickly and attacked the cities on the border of the Crimson Emperor Kingdom. The Red Emperor held a meeting. Father, it's obvious that our 2 armies are outside the Heaven Tiger Pass. The Qing Emperor's empire feels that they have an opportunity, Crown Prince Akatsuki said. In the Crimson Emperor nation, apart from the Crimson Emperor, Qi Tianxin had the most authority and prestige. He wasn't the eldest son of the Crimson Emperor, he was bestowed the title of Crown Prince because of his outstanding talents. He was considered a latecomer, and his strength and ability were at the top of the Crimson Emperor's sons. No matter if it was the arrogant Qi Du or Qi Hua, who had strong military abilities, they all admired Qi Tianxin because he was a peak-level monarch. He was infinitely close to a peak-level monarch. A peak-level monarch was at the same level as Emperor Qing and Emperor Crimson. It's not entirely because of that. Qi Du killed the soldiers who failed the Heaven Tiger Pass. The Black Tiger Army of the Nine Heaven Army could not accept it, the Red Emperor said. My king, if the Nine Heaven Army is angry, it shouldn't be Qing Lin and Qing Wan fighting, an official said. The commander of the Nine Heaven Army, Knight Sorrow, is the #1 commander of the Qing Emperor's empire. Qing Lin and Qing Wan armies are under his control. How does he want to fight? Qing Lin and Qing Wan, the two princes, must cooperate. Akatsuki looked at the official and said. The situation is obvious. If we move the two armies in front of the Heaven Tiger Pass, the Nine Heaven Army will attack. If we don't move the two armies, our armies won't be strong enough. How do you think we should solve this problem? The Red Emperor stood up from his throne. The Red Emperor knew this was the result of Qi Du's actions, but he never punished his son in front of other people. No matter how big a mistake he made, he would only scold him in private. He would not destroy his son's dignity. It did not matter if the Red Emperor was a good king or not, but he was a good father. Because of his way of doing business, he had nurtured several outstanding children. Father, after the Heaven Tiger Army was damaged, Qiwa's army is not strong enough. Qi Du's army is weak, too. If we move one of the armies, Nine Heaven Army will destroy the remaining one. Akatsuki looked at the Red Emperor as he spoke. That makes sense. What do you think? The Red Emperor nodded. He knew Akatsuki was talking about their current predicament. I want to go to war. Akatsuki bowed to the Red Emperor. But you don't have an army. The Red Emperor looked at Akatsuki. I don't have an army, but I have the Heaven's Heart Prefecture's soldiers. Although we are lacking in numbers, with 2 more armies, we can fight against any army. We can even destroy an army, Akatsuki said. Then it's decided. Let the military give you 2 armies from the Red Emperor City's city guard. We will form a new army called the Heaven's Heart Army. We know how strong the Heaven's Heart Prefecture's soldiers are. You can go to war and solve this problem, the Red Emperor said. Then let me guard the Heaven Tiger Pass. Let Qi Hua and Qi Du take care of the Green Phoenix and Green Unicorn armies, Akatsuki said. The Red Emperor nodded and agreed. The Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence system was very advanced. He told the information to Knight Sorrow. Rage Scale, you stay here. I will go and look after the Qi Du army. I don't care about the Heaven's Heart Army. This time, I will take care of the Qi Du army. I will follow them. When the time is right, I will teleport and destroy the Qi Du army, Knight Sorrow said to Rage Scale. Chapter 1204. Commander, you can let someone else do this. There's no need for you to do it yourself, Nu Lin said. I have to bear most of the responsibility for the deaths of the Sky Tiger Army soldiers. This cannot be avoided. You have to bear the consequences of your actions. Just do as I say. Knight Sorrow rejected Nu Lin's suggestion. He had to kill Qi Du after that. Knight Sorrow set up a teleportation circle in the Sky Tiger Pass. The main reason was that the teleportation crystal in the Sky Tiger Pass main teleportation circle could not be lost. Using a teleportation crystal that could be cut out to save resources was enough. There was only one original, the others were all pirated copies. After setting up the teleportation circle, Knight Sorrow brought his men out of the Sky Tiger Pass. To make it less of a target, Knight Sorrow only brought Summer City, Fei Xiu, and the Scout. Red Coat and Blue Shadow left Knight Sorrow in the Sky Tiger Pass. After leaving the Sky Tiger Pass, Knight Sorrow closed the Sky Ceiling Circle. Then, under the guidance of the Scout, they went to the Qi Du army's area and set up an ambush. Your Highness, we don't know how they're going to deploy their armies. We only know that Akatsuki has formed an army. Will this plan work? Summer City asked. It will. No matter what, we just need to keep an eye on the Chidu army. When the other two armies are unable to reinforce them, that will be our chance to kill them, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow felt that no matter how the Red Emperor's armies were deployed, the three armies would not be able to move together. As long as the three armies split up and went to deal with Qing Lin and Qing Wan's armies, that would be his chance. As long as the Sky Heart army and Chiwa army were 2 to 4 hours away from Chidu, he would dare to attack. Summer City nodded. He could see that Night Sorrow was determined to kill Chidu. Night Sorrow waited for news. He had spies by his side, and the spies' main bodies were in the Heaven Tiger Pass. If there were any battle reports, they would inform him immediately. The Red Emperor's army was very efficient. This was also Akatsuki's first time leading an army into battle. The Red Emperor's officials cooperated fully. In just 2 days, Akatsuki's men were marching towards Sky Tiger Pass. After hearing the report from the scout, Night Sorrow waved his arm. Very good, it seems like the army is changing their defense. Akatsuki's men, Ma Chong, will be blocking the front. However, at Heaven Tiger Pass, Chiwa and the Crimson Dew army will be leaving to block Qinglin and Qingwan. Once they move, it will be our chance. Perfect planning. This was Summer City's evaluation of Night Sorrow. He felt that Night Sorrow was always able to find the crux of the problem. Chidu was being targeted. This was bad luck. Chidu received the notice to wait for the Sky Heart army to arrive. He would go and fight with the Qingwan army. Chidu was convinced by the Red Emperor's arrangements. Although Night Sorrow didn't give him face and he wanted to kill Night Sorrow, he knew that his men couldn't fight against the Nine Heaven army alone. I hope the Crown Prince can intimidate the Nine Heaven army and kill Night Sorrow. Sector Lord? Even a Sector Lord can fall. Chidu murmured. Night Sorrow wanted to deal with him. In his heart, he also wanted to kill Night Sorrow. Because for countless years, no one dared to humiliate him. If we want to get rid of him completely, we still need to solve the problem of his original body. The old man beside Chidu said. This old man's name was Gan Qing. He was the personal bodyguard that the Red Emperor arranged for Chidu. He was also very strong. This Wang Dan is a Sector Lord. His original body is hiding in the Nine Regions world. It is indeed very difficult to kill him. At that time, it was all because of that bitch Qingwan. If she didn't interfere, Night Sorrow might have surrendered to the Nine Heaven world. Chidu said. If the prince's performance is better, maybe there is a possibility of marriage. There is still a chance. Gan Qing said. He knew that his young master had always been thinking about Qingwan. Yes, after the war, I will find an opportunity to bring people to slaughter the Nine Heaven world. The Red Emperor's empire and the Qing Emperor's empire are opponents. What can we do if we attack the world they protect? Chidu's eyes were full of ferocity. This isn't appropriate. If the Qing Emperor's empire reacts strongly, then the subordinate world of our Red Emperor's empire will also be attacked. Gan Qing was a little worried. He was worried that if Chidu really did this, it would easily lead to very serious consequences. If the Red Emperor was really angry, then Chidu's position in the Red Emperor's empire would drop. He, as a protector, would not have any benefits. I will report it to my father. I may pay a price, but it will cause a knot in Night Sorrow's heart and a serious negative impact on his soul. It is worth it. After all, Night Sorrow is now the first commander of the Qing Emperor's empire. He is also the beloved disciple of the Qing Emperor. If something happens to Night Sorrow, his soul will be covered in dust and he will not be able to recover. I think it is still worth it. Chidu said his thoughts. After listening to Chidu's explanation, Gan Qing felt that it was quite appropriate. After all, Night Sorrow was a very important person in the Qing Emperor's empire. As for the Qing Emperor's empire attacking the subordinate world of the Red Emperor's empire, then the Red Emperor's empire would also fight back. It would be a lose-lose situation. In the end, the result would still be reconciliation. 2 days later, the Sky Heart Corps arrived 200 miles away from the Sky Tiger Pass and set up camp. At the same time, the order from the Red Emperor's empire's army arrived. It ordered Chiwa and Chi-Du to lead their men to attack the Green Qilin and Green Phoenix Corps. If the 9 Heaven Corps appeared in the area attacked by the Green Qilin and Green Phoenix Corps, then the Sky Heart Corps would rush over to help. After receiving the order, both Chiwa and Chi-Du moved and teleported to the nearest city. This caused Night Sorrow's plan to fail. He, Summer City, and Fei Xiu also went to the nearest city. After asking around, they found out that the Chi-Du Corps had teleported to Jinling City and that Jinling City was close to where the Green Phoenix Corps was attacking. Night Sorrow brought the few people around him and teleported to Jinling City. After arriving at Jinling City, Night Sorrow found out about the Chi-Du Corps' movements. The Chi-Du Corps was stationed outside Jinling City. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that the Chi-Du Corps was waiting. He wanted to find out the Green Phoenix Corps' movements and then attack the Green Phoenix Corps with the local forces. Inform Nu Lin, tell Qing Lin and the Qing Wan army to stop fighting for now. Night Sorrow said to the messenger beside him. Night Sorrow did this to stop the Chi-Du Corps from moving. This way, he would have a chance to deal with them. Your Highness is planning to deal with the Chi-Du Corps here? But this place is only an hour away from Jinling City. It's too close. There will be an endless stream of reinforcements. It will be very difficult to take them down. Summer City said. Without the information of Qing Qilin and Qing Wan Corps, the Chi-Du Corps won't move. This will give me a chance to set up a formation. I will secretly set up a formation and surround the entire camp. Even if reinforcements come, it will be able to hold them off for a while. Now, there are 2 key tasks. One is to destroy the teleportation formation in the camp as soon as the battle starts. The other is to destroy the teleportation formation in Jinling City and then kill the Chi-Du Corps. Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. Chapter 1205. Summer City nodded. He wasn't good at war tactics, but he felt that Night Sorrow's method was still feasible. The most difficult part of this operation is the destruction of the teleportation formation. After I've arranged everything, Uncle Summer, go to Jinling City and destroy the teleportation formation at the agreed time. Then, hide and pay attention to see if there are any hidden teleportation formations. If there are any, continue to attack and destroy them. Also, Fei Xiu, you have to go. I'm not strong enough, so you'll be in charge of destroying the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu. Fei Xiu nodded. He knew that this mission was very important. Then I'll start working. Uncle Summer, help me control the energy waves when the formation is activated. Night Sorrow finished speaking and brought people to the area near the barracks. Then, he set up an illusion formation. Summer City used the will of the heavens to suppress the energy waves of Night Sorrow's formation. After getting close to the barracks, Night Sorrow began to set up the formation around the barracks. First, he set up an illusion formation to hide his body and hide the area where the formation was set up. Then, he set up the strongest formation he could set up, the Heaven-Sealing Deathlock formation. This formation was born out of the Heaven-Sealing formation and the Heaven-Sealing formation, but its level was much lower than the 2 formations. However, its power was already very shocking. It was very difficult to set up a formation that covered an entire barracks. Night Sorrow used almost 3 days to complete it. He also used thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Night Sorrow set up a large illusion formation and then set up a teleportation formation. After doing all this, Night Sorrow returned to Tianhu Pass and began to gather people. He left the Anping army to guard Tianhu Pass. With Tianhu Pass as a defensive structure, even if someone attacked, an army would be able to hold them off for a while. Looking at the assembled army, Night Sorrow first knocked on the 9 layers of armor that were already protecting his body. We are soldiers, so we naturally have to respect our soldiers and respect our soldiers. That's respecting ourselves. The Red Emperor's Chi-Du shamelessly massacred thousands of soldiers from the Sky Tiger Legion. I cannot accept that. Furthermore, the Sky Tiger Pass changed hands because of me. I am responsible for the massacre of the soldiers from the Sky Tiger Pass. I, Knight Sorrow, will avenge them. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, all the soldiers knocked on their breastplates. The Black Tiger Army even knelt on one knee. I've already arranged everything. What we need now is for everyone to kill the enemy and wipe out the Chi-Du army. Now, let's start the teleportation. Knight Sorrow pointed at the sky. Following which, under the arrangements of the various generals, the Nine Heavens army began to teleport. All the soldiers were very excited. They only knew one thing, which was that the commander had already arranged everything. What they needed to do was to kill the enemy. Permanently free equals take a look. Feeling that one teleportation formation was too slow, Knight Sorrow set up another one that was connected to the main teleportation formation of the Sky Tiger Pass. This allowed the Nine Heavens army to teleport faster. This way, they would be able to retreat faster. When retreating, they just had to destroy the teleportation formation that was connected to the main teleportation formation. As he watched the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion continuously teleport away, Yi Shan looked at Xia Cheng. Uncle Xia, you can set off now. According to my calculations, we will begin our operation in 2 hours. While you destroy the teleportation array, we will also begin fighting. Fei Xiu, Nu Lin, I shouldn't have left His Highness' side. However, this mission can only be completed by me. His Highness' safety depends on you. Nothing can happen to him. Otherwise, even if we kill all the soldiers from the Red Emperor's kingdom, we will still lose. Summer City looked at Fei Xiu, Nu Lin, and the others. All the generals nodded at Summer City. Then, Summer City set off. Nu Lin, arrange for people to set up another teleportation formation. When we leave, we must be fast. This time, it will be a blitzkrieg. We will leave after killing them. No matter what tactics the Red Emperor's kingdom uses, they will not be able to surround us. Knight Sorrow instructed Nu Lin. Nu Lin nodded. He would carry out Knight Sorrow's instructions to the best of his ability. The Nine Heavens army did not have any Sky Adept level array masters, but there were many array masters who could set up teleportation formations. Knight Sorrow calculated the time. The time for the attack was about to arrive. Qing Emperor's Kingdom Guard, form a formation and protect His Highness. Remember to stay close to him, Fei Xiu said. My Highness, Captain Fei Xiu will stay by your side. 7 Ju and I will destroy the teleportation formation. Chi-Du should have experts around him. You must have someone by your side, Qin Leitang said. Alright, then get ready. We won the battle against the Dark Abyss. This battle will determine our victory against the Red Emperor's kingdom. It's about time. Prepare for battle. Knight Sorrow let out a breath and gave the order. Everyone in the Nine Heavens army unsheathed their weapons and waited for the order. I don't have any requests for you. Just come back alive. The celebratory wine at Sky Tiger Pass is waiting for you. When you kill the enemy, protect every brother by your side. Knight Sorrow looked at the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army who were filled with killing intent. Then, he activated the Sealing Sky Kill formation. The wind and clouds changed. The energy on the ground rolled. The Sealing Sky Kill formation was activated. It enveloped the Chi-Du army's camp and the area where the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army were. Knight Sorrow also activated the illusion formation. The Nine Heavens army charged at the unprepared Chi-Du army. Qin Leitang and 7 Ju found the location of the teleportation formation. They led their men and charged over. Before the enemy could react, they destroyed the teleportation formation. Slaughter. The 6 armies of the Nine Heavens army had a combination formation. Against the unprepared Chi-Du army's 4 armies, it was a one-sided slaughter. Night Sorrow led the Qing Emperor's guard and the strongest Angry Lin army to charge towards the main tent where Chi-Du was. Those who blocked the way were directly cut down. Soon, the group of people reached the main tent. Chi-Du and Gan Qing led their guards and glared at Night Sorrow. How is this possible? Chi-Du could not believe what he was seeing, because the 4 legions under his command were finished, and only a small portion of his men were left to resist. Nothing is impossible. Back then, when you used the 9 Firmament World Group to threaten me, I decided to kill you. At that time, it was just a personal grudge between us. I endured it, but this time, you slaughtered thousands of Sky Tiger Legion soldiers. I can't endure it anymore, and the soldiers' souls can't wait either. Today, you will die, said Yi Shan as he pointed at Chi-Du. Gan Qing, kill him at all costs. Chi-Du's eyes were bloodshot as he roared at Gan Qing. I will take the prince away. For Gan Qing, protecting Chi-Du was the #1 priority. He knew that killing Night Sorrow would be difficult. Although no one here was stronger than him, Angry Lin and Fei Xiu were all monarchs. There was also a team of Qing Emperor's guard. Night Sorrow wouldn't be so easy to kill. This is an order. Kill. Chi-Du roared and charged towards Night Sorrow. Qing Emperor's guard, form a formation and kill. Fei Xiu didn't move. He shouted at the Qing Emperor's guard. The Qing Emperor's guard, the 3 high-level kings, were far stronger than those of the same level. They also cultivated a combination formation. Fei Xiu felt that he could stop Chi-Du, even if he was a monarch. The biggest threat was Gan Qing. He was an expert among the monarchs. Fei Xiu regretted it now. He shouldn't have done the mission in Summer City. Chapter 1206. It has almost all the books you want to read. It's much more stable than other websites. The updates are faster and there are no advertisements. At this time, Gan Qing also moved. He rushed towards Night Sorrow. Angry Kirin swung his halberd towards Gan Qing. At the same time, he shouted for the other generals to help. He didn't care about his own safety, but Night Sorrow couldn't be harmed. Angry Kirin was knocked back by Gan Qing's sword. At this time, Fei Xiu also attacked Gan Qing. Hearing Angry Kirin's shout, Qin Leitang and Wei Wei rushed over. 7 Zhu, Ji Feng and Qi Wang were still fighting with Chi-Du's generals. At this time, Angry Kirin, Qin Leitang and Fei Xiu worked together to suppress Gan Qing. Wei Wei stood beside Night Sorrow. Don't just stand there. Kill him for me. Night Sorrow's body flashed as he charged towards Chi-Du. Time was of the essence. Night Sorrow knew that Chi-Du must have sent a message to the Red Emperor's country. Once Wei Wei and Night Sorrow joined the battle, Chi-Du couldn't handle it. The Qing Emperor's guard's joint attack was already very difficult for him. Now, Wei Wei, who was as strong as him, joined the fray. He couldn't handle it. Wei Wei's attacks forced him back. Space Fisher. Because of his low cultivation, normal attacks were useless against Chi-Du. Night Sorrow used Space Fisher. The Black Space Fisher slashed towards Chi-Du as the creator of the joint attack. Night Sorrow's attack happened to hit the gap in the joint attack. Chi-Du's body flashed and dodged Yi Chang's spatial crack. However, he was slashed in the back by one of the Azure the Arch Guards, a high-level monarch king. The website's pages are clean and there are few advertisements. I love this kind of website. Although the slash didn't break Chi-Du's armor, Chi-Du's organs were shaken. He spat out blood. Die. At this time, Night Sorrow used Soul Extinguishing Slash. The deep purple crescent blade, supported by the will of space and time, directly cut into Chi-Du's spirit sea. Soul Extinguishing Slash was effective. Night Sorrow used Space Twisting Dragon Kill to kill Chi-Du. Night Sorrow wasn't the only one attacking, Wei Wei was also attacking. Wei Wei's attack landed on Chi-Du's back, shattering his armor. Chi-Du's body was pushed forward, and he was hit by Night Sorrow's Space Revolving Dragon Kill. His chest and abdomen were directly blown apart. At the same time, Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash also cut through Chi-Du's spirit sea. The crescent blade circled around and returned to Night Sorrow's spirit sea. After picking up Chi-Du's spatial ring and weapon, Night Sorrow shook his head. They still had an owner, which meant that Chi-Du's clone had died. Damn it. Thousand Shadow slash. Seeing Chi-Du killed, Gan Qing was enraged. Her body flashed, and many phantoms appeared as she rushed towards Night Sorrow. Your Highness, dodge! Nu Lin roared. He couldn't distinguish between the phantoms and the real one, so he couldn't stop them. Before Night Sorrow's body flashed, he first used energy to activate the 9 heavy armor. Just as Night Sorrow activated the 9 heavy armor, Gan Qing's attack arrived. Her powerful blade slashed Night Sorrow's chest, sending Night Sorrow flying. Just as Gan Qing's phantoms flashed again and chased after Night Sorrow, an angry roar sounded, "You're courting death." Earth Cage, 7 universal slashes. Summer City had appeared. He had destroyed the teleportation circle and rushed over because he was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. For a long time, free of charge, Look, Nu Lin and the others couldn't tell where Gan Qing's real body was, and all the phantoms had attacking power. It was a battle skill that Gan Qing used her life force to activate. Nu Lin and the others couldn't, but Summer City could. Summer City was an earth elemental, so she used an earth elemental spatial skill to suppress all of Gan Qing's phantoms. She then waved her blade and slashed at the phantoms. After a few slashes, Gan Qing's phantoms were killed by Summer City, leaving only her real body. You're going to die today. Summer City slashed at Gan Qing again and again. After 5 slashes, Gan Qing was killed. Wei Wei helped Night Sorrow up. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Night Sorrow looked at Nu Lin and the others. Kill them all. We don't have much time. They will set up a teleportation circle. In fact, when his army was under attack, Chi-Du's real body had already gone to the Red Emperor's palace to report to the Red Emperor. After confirming that 9 Heaven's army had appeared in Jinling City within the Red Emperor's empire, the Red Emperor immediately arranged for all the elites of the Red Emperor's empire to come out, including the Sky Heart Army at Heaven Tiger Pass, Chiwa's army, and the Red Emperor's palace guards. All of them were dispatched to Jinling City. When his doppelganger was killed, Chi-Du's real body paled. Father, they can't hold on any longer. My doppelganger has been killed. Knowing that the army under Chi-Du was on the verge of collapsing, the Crimson Emperor personally ordered everyone to rush to Jinling City as fast as possible and surround the 9 Heavens army. As long as they could defeat the 9 Heavens army, it would be worth it even if they lost an army. Night Sorrow felt a sense of crisis. After the battle ended, some people cleaned up the battlefield while others began to teleport. Night Sorrow's injuries were very serious. Gan Qing was a monarch, and a powerful one at that. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow's 9 layers of armor, even if Night Sorrow's body was strong, he would still be half dead. The 3 teleportation circles teleported together very quickly. When only the Nu Lin army was left, the Red Emperor's empire's reinforcements had arrived. They had already surrounded the battlefield and were beginning to break the formation. You can't even keep up with the heat. What's the point of surrounding us now? Wei Wei cursed. It was supposed to be a happy thing, but Night Sorrow's injuries made the generals very angry. The formation won't last long. The Chi-Du army doesn't have a heavenly adept formation master, but the Red Emperor's empire will definitely send a formation master. Tell everyone to teleport as fast as possible. I want to destroy the formation. Night Sorrow didn't want his formation techniques to be studied by others. After the Nu Lin army teleported away, only Night Sorrow, Summer City, and Fei Xiu were left in the formation. Night Sorrow removed the teleportation crystal that was connected to the Sky Tiger Pass teleportation circle. Then, he removed 2 more teleportation circles, leaving only 1 behind. He then set up the Spirit Explosion formation. After bringing Summer City and the others to the teleportation circle, Night Sorrow waved his arm and threw a Holy Spirit stone at the Sealing Sky Kill Lock formation. He wanted to destroy the Sealing Sky Kill Lock formation. His formation contained the essence of the Tao of formations. If he left the formation here, the Red Emperor's Empire's heavenly adept formation masters would slowly study it. The Sealing Sky Kill Lock formation would be thoroughly studied. Chi-Du, you're lucky that I didn't kill your true body this time. But remember this matter isn't over. The 4 armies are just the prelude to the end of our grudge. After leaving behind this sentence, Night Sorrow activated the teleportation circle. As Night Sorrow activated the teleportation circle, the Sealing Sky Kill Lock formation started to collapse and shatter. The energy from the explosion sent all the people who were trying to break the formation flying. Those with a high cultivation base were fine, but those with a low cultivation base were either killed or seriously injured. Night Sorrow's words traveled through the broken formation and reached the ears of Chi-Du, who was standing beside Akatsuki and Chiwa. This made Chi-Du's face turn even uglier. He immediately punched the air. He was still angry. Akatsuki didn't say anything. He knew that he had come too late. Chi-Du's army had been destroyed by Night Sorrow just like that. Chapter 1207. We came too late. Before he attacked, he had already made all the necessary preparations. He calculated the movement of our troops and the timing of the siege. That was why he was able to retreat so easily after the battle, Chiwa said. This time, he had the upper hand because he had been calculating from the beginning. We were passive in the battle. Every step was within his calculations. He is a genius. Looking at the messy battlefield after the formation energy dissipated, Akatsuki felt a little helpless. After the battle of wits, it was a battle of courage. After returning to the Sky Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow asked someone to count the casualties while he sat on the chair that Hong Yi had brought over. At that moment, Gan Qing's energy was still destroying his body. However, Night Sorrow's body recovered quickly, so his injuries wouldn't worsen. After counting, Nu Lin reported that the 9 Heaven Army had lost less than 400 people after killing 4 armies of the Crimson Dew Army. That was close to half of the army. Let's deal with the aftermath as usual. We can't let our brothers bleed and cry. Write the battle report in Hong Yi, stamp it with the commander's seal. I'll go heal myself first. Also, inform Qing Lin and Qing Wan armies to stay put for the time being. The Red Emperor's nation should be a mad dog right now. Night Sorrow opened his eyes and teleported back to the 9 grand floors. After entering the secret cultivation room, he began to refine the energy in his body. Nu Lin wrote the battle report and sighed. Night Sorrow's injuries had to be written in the battle report. Night Sorrow could choose not to write it, but he couldn't not write it. Nu Lin was a little embarrassed. 6 armies had fought and the commanders were fine, but the commander was injured. If this spread out, it would be very embarrassing. However, this couldn't be blamed on anyone. Gan Qing was beside the Crimson Dew Army, and the commanders couldn't stop him. Luckily, Summer City had returned in time. After receiving the battle report, Qing Emperor glanced at it and threw it on the table. Night Sorrow sacrificed half of his men to kill an entire army. He did his best as a commander, but he was almost killed. Whose responsibility is this? Qing Emperor was a little angry. After Xian Daozi read the battle report, he didn't say anything. The results of the battle were glorious, but Night Sorrow had been seriously injured. Let's go to the 9 Stories Tower. After saying that, the Qing Emperor left the Qing Emperor Palace and arrived at the 9 Stories Tower. Your Majesty. Summer City bowed when he saw the Qing Emperor. Tell me about the situation. Where were you when Night Sorrow was attacked? Qing Emperor asked while looking at Summer City. After Summer City bowed and apologized, he explained what had happened. On %. I can't blame you. You had to follow his orders. He has his own mistakes. He can't tell the difference between porcelain and a crock. Qing Emperor flung his sleeves and sat down. In the situation at the time, only I could continue to monitor and destroy the teleportation portal in Jinling City after I dealt with it. So, His Highness had no choice, Summer City said. He has a lot of power, but the things he does are always more difficult than that. Summer City, don't accept such orders in the future. Have someone else do it. He can't do it without someone by his side, Qing Emperor said. Summer City nodded. This time, he was also a little scared. If he hadn't returned in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. The battle at Sky Tiger Pass, and this time, the Red Emperor's nation was also destroyed. In a short period of time, our Qing Emperor's dynasty didn't have to pay a big price to cripple the Dark Abyss and the Red Emperor's nation. This is something only His Highness Knight Sorrow can do, Xian Daozi said. When this guy comes out, we have to give him a good scolding. He's a treasure himself. It's impossible for him to ignore his own safety. Qing Emperor felt that there were some things that needed to be said about Knight Sorrow. Your Majesty, I think that after these few battles, the army merits will be a problem. How are they going to earn merits in the future? Xian Daozi said with a smile. That's true. We'll think about it when we get back. We can't just say that they worked hard to solve the problem. Now that the dynasty has no more problems, we can't give them merits. Qing Emperor nodded. Your Majesty, that Chi-Du clone was killed, and his army was wiped out. This is a big problem, Summer City said. Qing Emperor did not say anything. So what if it was a big problem? The Qing Emperor's dynasty was not afraid of the Red Emperor's dynasty's provocation. No matter how the Red Emperor's dynasty provoked them, they would fight back. Besides, the current situation was clear. The Red Emperor's dynasty could no longer defend against the Qing Emperor's dynasty's attack. One army could not defend the Sky Tiger Pass. With two armies defending it, the other lines of defense would have to face the attacks of the Green Qilin and Green Phoenix armies. After 2 days of recuperation, Knight Sorrow was almost fully recovered. When he opened his eyes, he felt the concentric crystal in his sleeve vibrate. He took it out and poured energy into it. What are you doing? I've looked for you a few times, but you didn't respond. You don't look well. Are you injured? Datura, who had just scolded Knight Sorrow angrily, could see that Knight Sorrow did not look well. A few days ago, I was attacked by an overlord. It's not a big problem. I'm almost fully recovered, Knight Sorrow said as he shook his body. Can't you pay attention to your own safety? You are the #1 commander of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. If there's anything you need, just give orders. Why are you charging at the front? Datura said with a frown. Chi-Du, I must kill him. This time, it's a clone. Next time, I'll kill his real body, Knight Sorrow said. There's no rush. I've given you the resources for a few days now, but you haven't taken them. Also, I've sent 2 special overlords. They are good at hiding their cultivation. If you need anything, you can ask them for help, Datura said. I know. Be careful in the future, Knight Sorrow said. If something like this happens again, I'll teach you a lesson, Datura said as he turned off the concentric crystal. Knight Sorrow put away the concentric crystal and left the secret cultivation room. Seeing the Qing Emperor, Xian Daozi, and Summer City drinking tea, Knight Sorrow was stunned for a moment. He then bowed to greet them. Your body is strong enough. Although you have 9 layers of armor, you recovered in 3 days after taking a full blow from a peak overlord. That's impressive, Qing Emperor said as he looked at Knight Sorrow. Master knows. Uncle Xia, why are you saying this? You're making Master worry. Yi Shang picked up the teapot and poured tea for them. If it wasn't for your Uncle Xia, how could you hide this from me? Remember, you're the prince of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. You're also the #1 commander. Your status is higher than a prince's. You're a piece of porcelain, not a broken jar. You have to be responsible for your army. From today onwards, you're only allowed to command the war. You're not allowed to fight personally, Qing Emperor ordered as he looked at Knight Sorrow. Master, I was careless this time. I won't do it again. Please don't be angry, Master. Knight Sorrow quickly took out a bottle of wine and placed it in front of Qing Emperor. You have to take my words to heart. It makes sense that a gentleman doesn't stand under a collapsing wall. I understand that you have your own ideals when leading the army, but only by living can you fulfill your ideals and ambitions. Now, many people from the Qing Emperor's dynasty have snuck in, and they all want to deal with you. The Red Emperor's dynasty has suffered a great loss, and they won't let it go. In the past, the Red Emperor wanted your life for 1,000,000 merits. Now, the price is too high. Can you be careless? Qing Emperor looked at Knight Sorrow helplessly. Chapter 1208. Thank you for your advice, Master. I will remember it. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that Qing Emperor was talking about survival. Nodding at Yishang, the Azure Supreme Arch left the Nine Chao Pagoda. He felt that since he had reminded Yishang should be more vigilant and careful. In the next few days, Knight Sorrow fully recovered from his injuries before going to Heaven Tiger Pass to take a look. Heaven Tiger Pass was already on the right track. In addition, the Red Emperor's army outside Heaven Tiger Pass had also retreated. Akatsuki did not dare to let the Sky Heart army near Heaven Tiger Pass. He was also worried that Knight Sorrow would suddenly attack his Sky Heart army. If that happened, the Red Emperor's nation would really have no army to use. It would take time to form a new army. The top forces all had reserves of soldiers, but the combat power of a new army could not be compared to an old army. Currently, the Red Emperor's nation could only shrink their defensive line. They could not afford to fight. After arriving at Heaven Tiger Pass, Knight Sorrow thought for a while and called the generals to the commander's office. The continuous battles have exhausted the soldiers. Let's rest for a while. Also, the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army can't only be given holidays. In the future, 2 out of the 7 armies will be swapped out for rest. They can leave the camp freely and spend time with their families. Don't we have a piece of land at the side of the 9 grand floors? Let's build it up. It will be the family quarters of the Nine Heavens army in the future, Knight Sorrow said to the generals. Thank you, Commander. The generals bowed. They knew that this was Knight Sorrow's benevolence in caring for his soldiers. Also, take note of one thing. When soldiers go out, they will come into contact with many people. It is easy for them to be infiltrated. I don't care how you deal with this. You can use oaths to bind them or use other methods. In short, you must arrange it well. Another thing is that the army will go out. Nu Lin, you 7 generals will discuss this, but the letter of challenge must be reported to the 9 grand floors for Jun Xuanji's records. I will activate the barrier, Knight Sorrow said to the generals. Knight Sorrow was worried that the Nine Heavens army would be infiltrated. Nu Lin and the others bowed as they had to deal with this matter by themselves. There is also the issue of resources. Our Nine Heavens army should have a lot of merits, but if it's not enough, report it to the 9 grand floors. After explaining everything, Yishang returned to the 9-layer pagoda. As for the safety of the Heaven Tiger Pass, he didn't have to worry because the Heaven's Sealing Formation and the Heaven's Sealing Formation's array discs were in his hands. Staying in the 9 Chong building, Yishang brewed tea and studied the array diagrams. In the Red Emperor's pavilion, Chi Du reported his plans to the Red Emperor. Father, although there is a personal grudge, if we destroy the 9 Heavens world group, then Knight Sorrow's heart will be covered in dust. His virtuous body will be destroyed. You are right. It is worth it to pay a price to destroy this person. You go and deal with this matter. The Red Emperor shouted to the person beside him. After Chi Du returned to his residence, he gathered all his soldiers together. He felt that it was not enough, so he went to the Crown Prince's residence and asked Crown Prince Akatsuki to lend him a small team of soldiers. The Tianjin Prefecture soldiers were very famous in the Red Emperor's country. They were the Crown Prince's personal guards, second only to the Red Emperor's personal guards. Akatsuki did not refuse and lent Chidu a small team of soldiers. Chidu felt that it was enough. The leader was a sovereign. In addition, Chidu's protector, Ganqing, was also a sovereign. Although Ganqing's clone was killed, his original body could still fight. Everything was ready. Chidu brought his people to the Nine Firmament world through the transmission array, and then to the mysterious sky world. Just as the group of people left the mysterious sky world's teleportation array, a group of people appeared out of thin air. Among them, four sovereigns led the group and suppressed Chidu's group. Originally, Ganqing was very strong, but his clone was killed and he suffered some injuries. He was suppressed by two sovereigns. Similarly, Chidu's clone was killed and his strength was damaged. He was also suppressed by a sovereign. In addition, the leader of the Tianjin Prefecture soldiers and another man in blood-red clothes were equally matched. The subordinates of both sides were fighting. The group of people who suddenly appeared had the advantage. Who are you people? This prince is Chidu of the Red Emperor's country. Chidu shouted. I don't care who you are. I will kill you people who have bad intentions. The man who was fighting with Chidu said. Soa_new chapter FZ section Chin the distance, Qian Zhenyu just watched. He had never seen a battle like this. This was a battle between a sovereign, a high-level king, and a mid-level king. A few days ago, Datura brought people here and told Qian Zhenyu that all of this was to protect the mysterious sky world. Qian Zhenyu had seen Night Sorrow and Datura together. Naturally, he would not object to such a thing. He could not object. Datura arranged for this group of people to stay near the teleportation array. Today, when Chidu and the others appeared, this group of people would kill them directly. Qian Zhenyu knew that such a group could massacre the mysterious sky world at will. Even the Nine Heavens world group would find it difficult to resist. Just as Qian Zhenyu was thinking, Datura appeared wearing a black silk dress embroidered with a golden Datura and a veil. There are really people who came to court death. Then I will fulfill your wish. With a whisper, Datura's hollow battle sword appeared and slashed. One slash. With just one slash, Ganqing was cut in half. Then Datura's body floated and he kept attacking. The hollow battle sword carried the law of heaven. Every slash carried a halo of light that enveloped the opponent, making it impossible for the opponent to dodge. After a few slashes, Chidu was the only sovereign left. Stop, you can't kill me. Seeing that he was the only sovereign left beside him, Chidu roared. Kneel down and surrender, or die. Datura's voice was full of killing intent. After hesitating for a moment, Chidu knelt on one knee and stabbed his battle sword into the ground. You still want to play tough with me? I'll make you kneel. Datura's right foot shook, and a light wave flew out and broke Chidu's right leg, making him kneel on the ground. Lock him up. Leave no one else alive. Datura gave the order. In a moment, none of the people brought by Chidu were left. Take this person to the dark abyss for me. In addition, send 2 groups of blood-robed guards to the Nine Heavens world to wait for me. Hurry. Datura gave the order to the people around her. She knew that Chidu was captured, so the Red Emperor must know. Glancing at Qian Zhenyu, Datura took the people to the Nine Heavens world's teleportation formation. If they wanted to fight, they would fight in the Nine Heavens world. In the Nine Heavens world, Datura activated the concentric crystal. Night Sorrow, Chidu was captured by me and sent to the dark abyss. You can kill him later. You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.